I heard your voice.
He's, yeah,
I don't know what I've said.
Like, I know
really nice person.
I know that voice.
yeah,
You need to meet him now.
he is.
You have a 417 number still, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was here. I mean, let me see, like I said, do it through message. Let me find that. Yeah, and you can even see,
Yeah, you contact me.
I think that's the
yeah.
classes label for the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I got him right here.
That, okay,
Well, Baptist Bible College, Springfield, Missouri,
yeah.
Kevin Adams, looks like he's,
And I'm gonna leave this up with the chat.
yeah, he's got a picture of Castle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's been in the business since, I think he was 5. Because he's really young.
Somewhere around the 7th, 8th, 9th. I don't know if it goes all the way to the end of that.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
I'll add him.
He had
Alright,
a
so-
agent here take over his business here. I think she's still doing it.
While we get the screens going, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name's Maria Galvano. I have put my contact information on the back for you guys. I have been with KW since 2021 and have only been with KW since 2021. I'm also part of your ALC Agent Leadership Council. So if you guys ever need anything, feel free to save my contact and text me for any questions. So today we are going to be learning more about how your database affects your real estate business. And in the last session, we talked about lead generation. Now, all the leads that you gather have to go somewhere to be stored and organized. And that somewhere is your database. Yes, your command, your CRM, yes. Once your leads and contacts are captured in that container, you can then leverage your database to cultivate relationships and generate new repeat and referral business. Now, before we begin, we're gonna talk about your success system. What challenges did you guys encounter yesterday? Who did phone calls yesterday or text messages, lead generation time, whatever you wanna call it, relationship time? How did that go?
It went well. I'm not afraid of the phone and I find it a very useful tool because I can cover so much area
Yeah.
in a small amount of time. It went well. I made, I think 11 conversations. I have to look on my thing, on my tracker sheet. But
What
yeah.
was your feedback from people? Did you receive some good feedback?
Yeah, you know what I was doing and it's, where is it? I've got a phone book, right? Old stuff, right? And so it's got the name and the address and then the phone number. So I was going through the phone book and I was just simply saying, hey, you know, I'm here in Stockton, you know, Tri-Lake Realty here in Stockton. They say, yeah, okay, yeah, where at? And I said, we'll cross the street from Sonic, whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, I'm just, you know, actually, you know, Maria, it's kind of slow right now and I'm looking for some work. So I'm just calling around the area, see if anybody wants to maybe sell real estate this year, maybe buy real estate. So anyway, they would say yes or no, or sometimes, you know, you get somebody who wanted to talk a little bit. But then I had their name and their number and their address, so I can go from there and put them in the drip system and.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
How
for
did you
sharing.
find out that we're not in a call list?
It's in the phone book.
Is it? Oh,
It's the whole public phone book.
is that a new one or an old one?
It's 2019.
Okay.
I've had people ask me, you know, how'd you get my number? Or, you know, hey, I'm on the do not call. I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I wasn't aware. But anyway, that's what I did yesterday.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share how their lead generation time went?
I contacted a couple of people I haven't talked to in a while. And I used Amy's. I've been challenged to get 50 emails for my new business. And everybody responded positively. I don't know
It
why I
actually
keep-
wasn't mine, it was Mary's, but then
Okay.
I did challenge you.
This is, yeah. I don't know why I keep expecting it to go badly.
Yeah, so it wasn't as scary as they don't like me, they don't want to talk to me, right?
It's getting, yes,
Yeah.
as I'm getting positive feedback, I'm getting better with,
Yeah.
I'm feeling better about it.
Was it nice connecting with those people that you hadn't spoken with?
No,
in a
it
while?
was. That's the other thing. How fun is that?
Yeah, So that's what we were talking about yesterday of, we're in the business of making relationships, and when you take away the result. Anyone else wanna share?
I scheduled like 4 coffee dates, coffee lunch dates.
Nice, yeah, yeah. So yesterday I was actually telling the class about how your lead generation is your coffee dates and how you are very strict about, you know, this is my time where I get to build those relationships and communicate with people. Anyone else wanna share?
I probably made 10 phone calls and cultivated probably 4 sales for the first quarter. Just moving them toward that, a couple of listings and a
Yeah.
couple of buyers. So, felt really good. And then I did my 10-5-1
Yes.
for social media and felt good about that. So it's productive.
What was a challenge that some of you maybe came across while you were working on your lead generation time? Distraction.
Cause I'm on my phone texting and then,
Yeah.
oh, I get a notification or.
Yeah.
Same thing, kind of, you know, I'm doing all this by text.
Yeah.
And then something catches my attention and then I'm not responding right away. And so it's kind of like a long drawn out conversation to get to that coffee date.
Yeah,
Because I get distracted.
yeah, yeah.
Even when you've got deals that are already working, you get distracted from an email that pops up from a lender that needs something
Yeah.
that pertains to a deal that you've got working or. So they're good distractions, but they're still distractions.
There's still distractions. Yeah, yeah.
So you have to kind of be flexible and
Mhm.
maybe add a few minutes to what you had planned on doing because you spent 10 minutes talking or sending an email back and forth, whatever.
Does it
Yeah.
help maybe to keep a piece of paper next to you? And when you think
I
of
do
something
that.
other,
Yeah,
then you
yeah,
just write
yeah,
it down
yeah,
to
yeah.
get back to later?
So that's something that I've actually started implementing, cause I easily get distracted and I easily distract other people by shouting my ideas, because if I don't get it out, then I will forget it and
Yeah.
then it'll never come back. So one of the things that I have started implementing is just having that, and whenever I think of like, oh my gosh, I need to do this, instead of having the initial reaction of going on my computer or my phone to do it, I just have that piece of paper and I write it down and then I leave it there and transfer it to my to-do list or whatever that might be. And it's a muscle that you have to, it's something that you have to practice doing. You still are gonna be like, oh, I need to do this, but you know, try to have that piece of paper next to you so that you can just jot it down and not get distracted. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm glad to hear that your building relationship time went great and that you guys actually picked up the phone and made some phone calls. And that you got such good feedback and that it wasn't as scary as you thought that it was going to be. All right, so for today's session, we're going to identify the key information that we need in order to add our contacts to our database, as well as determining what categories or segments for the contacts should go with them, how you should categorize them. And then how to build your business by asking your sphere of influence for referrals, which we kind of talked about a little bit yesterday. Now, to start thinking about what you will learn today, let's consider what questions you might have and what about a database you'd like to know more about. You can also look back or think back to what you learned about lead generation yesterday, since you started to learn the basics of a database. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys to find a partner and have a 2-minute conversation about questions and what they'd like to learn more about in today's class. So make sure you find a partner. If you're far away, to
What would you like to?
Sherry, what about things that you'd like to learn about today in regards to building your database?
Let's see.
So do you end up having a coffee date every day?
Do you, all these contacts and stuff,
My goal
bring
is
all those people to your database?
Mary said, I reached out for emails and ended up with a
I
couple
think
referrals for
what I'd
future
like
buys.
to learn
Nice,
is
nice.
Okay, go ahead. Easy.
Look at
Especially
that.
an email, how that conversation would go, especially with somebody that
Shanna,
so usually
Wednesdays I don't.
somebody that you're not.
So if you're online, just send me in the chat some of the
What's the word?
things that you would like to learn
Somebody
about.
Sorry.
About
Sorry.
lead generate or adding people to your
Somebody
database.
that's kind of still a stranger.
Yeah. International ways on that. I want your email address.
Right, right. So that would be one thing I would learn.
Maria?
Also, just, you know, I think our, what is the base, I call it a contact. You know, name and a phone number,
Telling
is that enough?
people who would like to.
Yeah, I wanna configure these smart, plans, so that we can start utilizing those.
We kind of touched on this a little bit.
Yeah, I just can't remember all the people, to follow up with, follow up on them. Yes.
For people who are far away, do I really need to be texting it?
I had a database.
Like a newsletter might be
Yeah,
different.
but it was.
Do I need to add
no
one
way.
even?
I mean, if you really get into it.
Versus locally, I feel like that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then when it comes to the data,
Maria's gonna be a
being
really interesting person
So
to-
this.
There's a point when you
The
get,
fact that she-
get so many.
Oh, hi Sarah, how are you?
But, a lot of it can be.
Liliana.
So my smart plans.
Yeah, either.
So, I'm glad you're here.
And then
You
tasks.
Contact
us. You can set a task.
Yeah, I do Taylor Williams.
I'm a teacher certificate.
Yeah. Yeah, smart plans.
I was still
But you can set it,
and so,
just,
but I just
anyway,
feel.
I'm
like this
answering
is
your
gonna
question.
happen.
I mean,
This meantime, yeah.
I'm
I
trying
was
to
on
answer.
vacation last week, so.
You can set a task, like, to, you know, so I talked to this guy
How do you
today,
do
you
your
know,
business?
make sure I
How
set
do
a
you
smart
get
plan up for him in a week, or I need to call back, in, you know, 90 days or whatever. So you can kind of,
30 seconds.
you can kind of take that weight of how much stuff I gotta do. Gotta spread it out.
I tried to hold on here. I need,
I've been running.
I think that's.
So,
My
anyway,
daughter
yeah.
sends me anything. She can't
Yeah,
handle it.
that makes it,
She's been a
it gives
realtor
information in a
3 years.
natural way.
Yeah.
Where is it? She was Taylor Williams?
Okay, yeah, that's why.
Yep. I like
All
that.
right, thank you guys so much. Okay, so Jeff and Richard, will one of you guys share what is one thing that you would like to learn about today about your database?
Okay, so how would you develop a database, not a general database, but a specific database for farming an area?
Farming an area, okay. So you wanna learn more about farming?
Yes, anything I can learn on farming.
Farming. All right, Amy and Ann, what's one thing that you'd like to take about today on database, growing your database?
How much information, do I need to get the same amount of information for everybody, or is there a differentiation? And even as I'm communicating with them, is there a differentiation between people who are far away and people who are local?
Okay, so how to communicate? Would you say with them? Or how much information you need from them?
Both, like, I guess it really, should I be focusing on local,
Okay,
even though I obviously have contacts who are far away?
Is it the message? Is it what's the message that you're saying to them?
Yes and no, yeah,
I think
that's
part of it is how to categorize them
Okay,
and then how to effectively communicate with each one based on their category.
okay.
yeah,
What
Then you
she
might
said.
You might reach out to that area through KW and find a referral agent out there. So that you can say, hey, you know, I know Ann out in whatever, San Diego. She's a good contact, so if you ever need any help, we could connect you with her or something, but anyway. whatever it is.
all right, we'll touch on that. Ann, Brad and David, all right, what is one thing that you guys would like to learn about today about a database?
Well, we're gonna give you two, because I have one and he has one. So I need a good script to get an email address from somebody that I don't know super well. Just kind of almost.
Just like an
super.
acquaintance?
Yeah,
You have their
yeah.
phone number?
I've got the stuff that I qualify as a contact, their name, their address, their phone number, but I wanna add to it, and I wanna figure out a way to get a script to get that email address.
Okay.
Smart plans,
Smart
now that,
plans.
I mean, can't hold all this in my head,
Yeah,
so, have my little assistant there,
yeah, for sure.
reminding me and also doing it for me. when I need
Yes.
it, So,
There is also going to be a Smart Plans class on Thursday at
10,
10 a.m. with Nicole. She's our tech guru. So, we won't dive into like the nitty gritty about smart plans in this class, but if you are looking for that, then that Thursday class is going to be a great resource. And if you can't make it to that, then just make a one-on-one appointment with Nicole and she will literally spiel all about it and it'll be great. But yeah, smart plans. All right, Sherry and Liliana.
We didn't have any questions because we didn't have time to talk, but here's the deal. Everybody else's questions are now my questions,
Right.
because my thing here is the farming. I am sick and tired of seeing everybody else's signs up in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because I am good at this, and the guy behind me went with the meanest person in town to sell his house. And I have talked to him before, so like I was really sad about that, but whatever. And then the communication, the scripts, all of that. How do you get emails and birthdays? Because I like to send a birthday card, and the people I have birthdays for, I'm good at doing it.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with the smart plans, but I'm going to the 10 o'clock Thursday thing, so.
Perfect, yeah. So as we go through the content today, just make sure to listen and see if one of your questions is answered as we go. And if you wanna, dig deeper on that, we obviously will and can. But we will also go back to this page at the end of the class as well.
Well, I purchased my addresses and information for my neighborhood area. And I mailed out handwritten cards to every person on my list. Nothing.
Did you follow up with a phone call?
Well, see, there wasn't phone information. It was just names and
Yeah.
addresses. How do you find somebody's phone number? Good grief, it's
This
hard.
it'll blow your mind, but it costs a little money, but whitepages.com is pretty damn darn accurate. I mean, I'm hitting about 85%, 90% accuracy on that.
There's also Fast People Search.
Yeah.
That's a free resource as well. If you have first name, last name,
It's not working
city.
like it used to before.
I've been using it and sometimes it doesn't pull people's information and sometimes it does. But that's a good resource if you ever need. CRS tax info is also a good one to look up for addresses.
And then Intellius as well. Intellius is, I think, $15 a month.
Good old fashioned door knocking also, you can do that.
Or good old fashioned door knocking works
Oh,
too, yeah.
no.
Especially if it's your neighborhood, like.
I've done door hangers
Mhm.
and I have knocked on doors and I have talked to people in my
Yeah.
neighborhood. Everybody on my block knows me because I knock on their door and ask them if I can look in their house. So, they'll let me in.
Yeah.
They let me
If
in.
you have like I don't know if you have like a subdivision name or an area name of some sort, if you don't have a Facebook group, that would be a great opportunity for you to create a neighborhood Facebook group and invite
That is
all
a
of,
good
and invite all
idea.
of your neighbors. And then you can say, hey, I'm working on a list of all of the neighbors that live in our area in case we ever have an emergency or something happens. Would you mind if I get your email and phone number?
That'll work great for Park Fest, because I have a Facebook page for the content.
That's right, tax breakers.
I like that.
All right, so your database is your business. Building up the number of names in it and a relationship with those names is really the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I believe that your database is the gold mine. It has to be taken care of.
Have you ever thought of your database as your business?
It is your business, yes.
I would never have known this by taking the license course. And I'm really glad, because at first, I'll be honest with you, at first it was a real I didn't realize there was gonna be so much of that involved.
Yeah.
And do I really wanna pursue this after all? I
Yeah,
actually had to spend a couple of days thinking about it.
yeah.
But again, for me, I think it's a really good area of growth. Being initiating relationships, initiating not cultivating, but
Conversations.
maintaining relationship.
Yeah. So with no database, you have
No business.
no business, yeah.
And your bank is empty.
And the number of names in your database and the relationships you build with the people will determine the success of your business. So if you don't make those calls, you're not gonna get that relationship, you're not gonna get that business. So today you'll learn that how you feed and care for your database will turn into a data bank from which you will be able to predictably draw business. And that should be really exciting because then that means you're gonna get also paid. In the previous section, lead generation, you got the first taste of what a database is and talked about a few ways to add people to your database as you move through your day. Today, we will be going deep into how to bring your new repeat and refer business into your from your database. Now, first, we will start with getting a look at the big picture of what a database is and why you should use one in your business. Do we have any questions before we start? So who can tell me what a database is?
It's something that stores information.
Yeah,
Bank of clients.
yeah, it's the container that holds the
It could be
contact
any information, because there are different kinds of database, but for us, I think it is our leads, contacts.
Yeah, it's your little cup. It's your little container of people. Now, we distinguish people differently based on the permissions we have to connect with them. Now, remember to stay TCPA compliant and don't call people on the do not call list. I need to say that so we don't get sued. So please make sure that you check on that. Now, leads are people who have expressed interest in a service or offering of yours from social media, marketing materials, your website, or, word of mouth. You haven't established a relationship and yet you have the right to have a one-way conversation with them. That is to respond and begin to build a relationship. So if someone goes and clicks on your website online and you receive their contact information, you have received permission to contact them because they plugged in their information on there. Now, contacts are the people you have a relationship with. Those are the people that know you, you know them, and you have the permission to engage in communication in them. So if your neighbor Bob is on the do not call list, and you know that, but Bob's your neighbor and your buddies, then you have permission to contact him. Now, the people who make up your sphere of influence are considered your contacts. So your Facebook friends, your neighbor next door, your dog groomer, those are your contacts. Your hairdresser, your nail person. These people are your golden people. Many top agents have very successful businesses working with their sphere of influence, and you can too. This is why we focus on sphere in our success system time. And your first task will be to fill your database with your sphere of influence. How many of you have your contacts in command, your sphere of influence? Let's see that. Now we're gonna turn to the lead generation and database model page in your participant guide. And take some time to look at this little cylinder we got going on over here. Can someone tell me where the database is represented?
The top.
Isn't
it the whole thing?
Number two.
It's a trick question.
Sounds like it.
It is a trick question.
Lead generationship,
It's the whole thing because you capture the lead
relationship manager.
and you put them in either you put them in have mets or have not mets, and they're still in your database because the ones you have some information on, you want to build the relationship. So, I mean, but if you want to go to your sphere of influence, then I guess it's gonna be the people you know. I think the whole thing is the database. Because it's data.
So your database is all about relationship management, which is pretty much the entire thing. The relationship you build and develop will grow your business through new, repeat, or referral business. And your database is key to your business and does a lot for you. Now, what can a database do for you? If you have a database, what can it do for you and your business? Aside from giving you business.
Referral business.
It provides your to-do list for the day.
Oh, I have a cool story. So
Ah, great.
I don't know where I did this, let me think. It was in something that I watched, or a thing that showed us how to set up referrals in our command, and I was watching it online. And I set it up and I sent like requests out to the people that were in the group with me, that were on the video with me, and then I sent requests out to people that I knew. I got a referral from Kansas City the other day just because of that.
Yes, so,
Like, it's so cool.
yeah, exactly. And I love that you're so excited because people don't get so excited about database management, but you should be, because it makes your life easier. If you have a database, other than bringing you business, it keeps you organized. It helps you have automated conversation with your clients. It's a comprehensive record of communication and the relationship through a systemized communication system. And a well-maintained database holds value and can be sold if you choose to retire at one point.
That's a good point. I like that one.
So an organized and smart database, as much as we like the sticky notes and the notepads, it's gonna do no good if that gets lost and you can never contact that person again. So make sure that you are feeding your database. Now you've learned that Command is a smart database that KW makes available to you. And how many of you have gone into Command already? Who gets into Command every day?
Well, if you're working. Okay, every day.
Command is a database of names and contact information, like the contacts in your phone, and with a lot more information. And you can actually see how healthy your database is. And if it's on the red, just working that towards the green. Feed your database. It also helps you track your goals. You can enter your goals for yourself for the month and year, and it will track your activities, conversion rates, and projected income. So if you have a goal of, GCI or whatever that might be, you can put all that on there and record the activities that you're doing, and it'll show you if you're on track to hit those goals. It's also a task manager to track all the things you're committed to completing in lead generation and transaction management. And it's a marketing suite of newsletters, postcards, mailers, presentations, and social media posts. And it's also a referral network. If you didn't know, KW Command has an area where you can look for other KW agents around the nation. So if you ever have a client that is not from your area, or a friend that's not from your area, and you've been letting them know you're in real estate, and they tell you, hey, I want to buy a house and I don't know anyone in real estate other than you, and I know you're far away, but can you help me? You can go on your KW Command and look for a referral partner in the area and interview agents in the KW network as well. So there's a lot of fun things that we can use Command for. It's ever evolving, so updates come all the time, and it's a great time to remind you to take the on-demand series called Command Your Business on Connect, and to refer back to the Ignite reference guide for step-by-step instructions for building your business in Command. So KW Connect also has trainings that you can take as well online if you ever have questions on how to use some of these resources. RPR is a good resource through GSBOR portal. It's an NAR managed resource website. You can generate free mailer information from public information, and you can also filter out do not call when you generate your list from the geographical area. So yeah, RPR is a free resource that, I guess it's not free because we paid for it with our dues, but it's a resource that we get through GSBOR. You can also do CMAs, and it's pretty accurate as well. It just doesn't take any updates on the property, but it's a great resource that you can also check on. Now we're gonna turn to the 4 laws of a database in your participant guide, page 16. Now you know the why of using a database. Remember, your database is your business. You gotta feed it every day. You gotta communicate and you gotta service them. So let's talk about how we can make that happen. And it's with these 4 very easy things. If you build a database, if you put your contacts in, if you keep on feeding it, and by feeding it is choose 5 people every day that you reach out to and you say, hey, I want to send birthday cards this year to the people that I know, and I'm missing your home address. Would you mind sending me it? If they don't want to give you your home address, can I get your work address? They don't want to give you that, then stalk them on Fast People Search.
You're on recording, you know.
Okay, and then communicate systematically. Smart plans. Go to the classes, talk to Nicole, make appointments with her. She will walk you through it. It is really not that hard once you get the training for it. And now service all leads. If you receive a lead, if you receive someone, make sure you are calling them, make sure you're servicing them, make sure you're, building rapport with them and being the person, the real estate expert for them. Any questions or ahas?
What's the minimum? I'm kind of into that kind of stuff. What's the minimum information to consider it a contact? I mean, so, you just got a name, that's not really a contact.
No, name, I consider a contact if I have at least their phone number or email.
Name and phone number,
Name and phone number. Name and phone number or name and email, because if you have an email, if you have at least one way of communicating with them, then you've made a contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just, it's a game.
Address is just like, that's when you really are like,
Yeah, that's like the cherry on top.
that's like the cherry on top, yeah.
But technically, they say as long as you have 2 pieces of information, name and phone, name and email, name and address, because there's something that you can do
Mhm.
with all those things, with each of those things.
Yeah.
I treat it like a game, so games have rules. I had to make sure I was following the rules.
Yeah, so it is very, and it's really not that hard to ask people for their contact information. So one of the questions that you had was, how do you script for an email address for someone that?
Yeah, so I do, I've got a lot of people in my contact, or my CRM database, come in, whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of cold calls, cause I'm generating new business. I want to grow.
Mhm.
And so, like I said before, I call somebody up and say, hey, just calling around the area. So now I got their name, their address, and their phone number.
Mhm.
So I'd like to have a script. I guess what I could say is, hey, Maria, I can send you information on what's going on in the area as far as home prices, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And, do you do stuff online? I mean, maybe I'm dealing with an older person, but anyway, if you do stuff online, then yeah, could I send it to your email address? I can do that if they're interested, something like that.
If you have a newsletter, you can say, hey, I have a monthly newsletter with market update and valuable information on there, and I want to add you to it. Can I get your email?
Cool, yeah.
Did you say that you can do a CMA through command?
Through RPR.
Okay.
Yeah, through RPR. Any other ahas? Anyone that would like to share or questions?
It's been said before, but I like hearing again that it's possible to truly be successful just cultivating your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to go find all these new people, although you're probably still doing that anyway,
Yes.
but it doesn't have to be necessarily your focus. I suppose as you add people to your database, then they are now part of your sphere of influence, so
Correct.
it's gonna grow.
Yeah. You're talking to people every day. So it's kind of like what we talked about yesterday. It's not running errands anymore. It's, building relationships with people. So when you're going out, it's, okay, who can I connect with today? Who can I just make friends with? And, the conversation of what you do is going to come up naturally. So you don't have to go in just being like, hey, hey, I'm a real estate agent, let's be friends and buy a house for me, yeah? You know, I mean, it might work, but I would audit.
Situation.
I mean, it depends on the situation, but for the most part, you're not really gonna go at it from that approach, depending on the situation, right? So it doesn't have to be that big thing of ta-da, you know, magic trick, jazz hands. So yeah, but it doesn't have to be as scary and big as, you know, cold calling, and it looks different for everyone. Like you're probably most likely never going to catch Amy doing a cold call. Ever, unless like someone was offering her
$10,000.
$10,000 or something like that. Like she works from her sphere of influence and from
Good
referral.
idea.
Like her business is SOI and referral and community. She's involved in the community. So she builds relationships that way. For me, when I started, it was open houses because I didn't have a sphere and I didn't know anyone. So and that also, again, I changed my mindset of I didn't have a sphere when in reality I do have a sphere. They just weren't here.
Okay.
So then I changed that. The funny thing is that when I added contacts to my command my first year, I was like, I don't have to add anyone because no one lives here. So why should I have them?
Mhm.
But then I realized that no, like everyone is in my sphere of influence and I need everyone in everywhere that I know to know that I'm a real estate agent so that I can refer them to it.
Okay.
So yeah, you can build your business off of the SOI. Now, if you love cold calling, knock yourself out. By all means. Sherry?
So I was in Arizona last week, but over Christmas, I met a couple who were looking for a house here and they live in Arizona. So while we were there, we ate lunch with them in Tombstone, which was a total like weird place to be, but it was cool. And so, you know, having that relationship there, they need to sell their house there. So they are going to ask me for a referral for where they live. And I will be able to send them somebody from Keller Williams down there and earn a referral fee. So even if they don't live in the state and they're moving, sometimes they want that help.
And if they already trust you, they're more likely to reach out to you than to reach out to, you know, someone that another friend of theirs recommended that's a realtor. They're probably gonna go with a friend that is already a realtor to ask them for advice. So yeah, just.
And they bought our lunch. Like we tried to buy theirs, but. So it was sweet.
Now, turn to the 4 laws of database, build your database page and your participant guide.
Mhm.
The first law is to build your database. You've already started doing this during Ignite through the phone calls you have been making, conversations you've been having, and the other successive system activities that you have. And of course, we recommend Command as your database because it's available at no extra cost. It's powerful and it's everything. Great stuff. Yes, yes,
And it gets better and better all the
it
time, I
does.
think.
They are making updates all the time to it, which is great. I love it. Now, the first names that you put in your database are your sphere of influence, the people you thought about in session 5. Your family, friends, coworkers, people you encounter regularly. So if you go, you know, to the chiropractor, if you go to PT, if you go your primary care physician, if you go to therapy, if you get a haircut, whatever it is, that's your sphere of influence. And there's basic set of information that you should be gathering from each person at the most basic level. Each contact in your database should have what 3 things?
Name, contact information,
Phone.
and what?
Past record of business with you, if any.
Okay, I was gonna say, not all of them too.
So client information, phone, email, or address, and name. Now, there are several ways to add your contacts to Command for the first time. And you can go to answers.kw.com and search for Ignite Reference Guide if you need to do so.
Answers dot, what?
At answers.kw.com.
Okay.
Ignite reference guide.
Yes. Now, what else may be good to collect on your database, on your contacts?
Notes, what you last talked about, why you know each other.
Mhm.
You know, important things that are happening in their life, things that you should remember so you don't accidentally bring up something terrible.
Yes.
What are they looking for?
What they're looking for, what else?
Birthday.
Birthday? Mhm. What else?
Home anniversary.
Home anniversary? They have pets,
Kids, where they work.
Favorite football team?
favorite football team. One of the things that,
Go Chiefs.
one of the things that that we actually have on one of our Google forms is whether or not they drink alcohol. And the reason, and we debated that for a little bit, but the reason we did that is because we never want to put someone's sobriety in jeopardy by assuming that they drink alcohol or insulting them for religious matters or whatever that might be. So that is also a question that you want to ask. And you can say, hey, you know, I ask all this question to my clients because I want to be respectful. Do you drink alcohol? Yes or no? You don't have to ask why. You just need a yes or no answer and that's it. And if they do, then you ask them, oh, what's your choice of drink? So those little details, that little information helps you get to connect with them a little bit more and get to understand them and get to know them better as well.
Part of that is because we like to do personalized gifts.
Yes.
And so we want to make sure that we know things that they like and that they don't like, but also we do a lot of events. And so we want to be careful with, you know, are we inviting the right people to the right events?
Yeah, it helps you kind of cater to your database depending, because we can throw an event that's for everyone in our database, and then we have events that's just for moms, or just for women in business, or just for single moms, or just for families, whatever it might be. So we want to make sure that we understand what people we're working with and who we have surrounded, so that when they go there, we can give them a little bit of everything.
Question, one thing that you maybe would not put in the database due to real estate laws would be race. Is that?
I don't normally, I do that if they like speak another language, like if they're from a different country, or if they speak a different language. If they are foreign, I do make note of that because of cultural differences, like the approach that you're gonna have from someone that's Asian versus someone that's from the US is gonna be completely different in communication style, so that's always good to know. But for the most part, I don't really, that's not something that I typically like ask.
I do have, I could, other agents, any agent that I do a transaction with, it goes there into the tag agent. And I have tags for vendors or inspectors, plumbers, roofers.
So for example, for my database, I have Spanish speaking clients, and I do tag them as Hispanic, but that's because I have content that I send out to them in Spanish. So that might be, you know, if you have a database with like a different language that you want to cater to, that might be something that you take into consideration. All right. Command makes it really easy to build your database, and you have options. You can enter your contacts manually through command, like through your computer, or you can do it through your phone. Who has a KW command app on their phone? Okay, yeah, I like that. You can also sync contacts with command from third-party systems like Google Contacts or iCloud. You can also import your contacts into command using command import template or an import export template from another system. So there are several different options on how to do it. And again, if you need help with technology, and Nicole is a great resource for that because she'll walk you through it. You can also easily add personal details for each contact. You have the ability to add notes about your communication with them. You can also tag them with personalized tags, and it also comes with several built-in tags as well.
Tags
So
are great.
the tags are great, yeah. Cause then you can, we have an event that we called Veranda, so we put all of our ladies with that tag in there so that when it's time to create an event, we can just choose the tag and do it that way. So it makes it very easy. Now the nice thing about adding your notes, so who here does their lead generation and then they add notes to command on what they talked about with their client?
I do it when I talk to, right after I talk to them.
Yeah. So this is actually one of the habits that I am trying to build this year because I found that it actually makes it a lot easier and it makes me process the information and the communication that I just have with my clients. And it also makes it easy for my admin to know what I'm doing and the conversations that I'm having. And it also helps you track your business, how many conversations you're having. If you have your goals set up on command, that's gonna help you track your goals and the conversations that you're having. So if you know that you need 2 appointments a week and however many conversations you need, 10 conversations to get to the 2 appointments, then track that on your command and put it on there. And it's gonna make it so much easier when you can see your goals progressing as you go. Check out Command Your Database on Connect for step-by-step simple instructions. Or again, you can go to answers.kw.com and search for Ignite Reference Guide. Now, I'd like to know more about building. Now, if you'd like to know more about building your database, check out the online on-demand course, Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Database on your future with the series named No Ceilings, Level Up Your Lead Generation.
What's it called?
It's called Build a $1 Million Database and Own Your Future with the series named No Ceilings, Level Up Your Lead Generation.
No feeling?
No ceilings.
No ceiling, okay. Sorry, I'm old.
So you mentioned tracking. What do you guys use for tracking your numbers?
So, well, we used it, I think we might be tracking differently in certain aspects.
As far as.
So that you can,
As far as lead generation,
yeah, so that you can identify how many conversations it takes to get this number of leads, which turns into this much closed business.
I would say
How
that
do you-
neither of us probably use that system. What
Mhm.
I use is more, where do they come from? So I'm tracking where each of my transactions come from, and then that tells me who to focus on in my lead generation.
That's
And
kind of what
then
I
from
do.
my lead generation, I really honestly don't track the numbers associated with it, but instead I say, okay, this is my sphere. And if we have an event, I know who we need to be calling for an event, or if we don't have anything going on, now I need to get into my DTD2 and do it that way. But if I started to see a shift in where my clients were coming from, then I would know I've got to change my lead generation tactic. So right now, it's really everything, 95% is coming from my sphere, so I work very heavily on nurturing my sphere, but I don't track conversations.
Yeah. So for me, I know what I want my Amy and I have done the economic model with Jana to know what we want our GCI to be. And that GCI equals a certain amount of volume. And then we just break it down backwards of like, okay, this is how many appointments we need a week in order to, and by appointments, we mean met appointments, like people that we're going to work with, work with, nurture, whatever that might be, whatever that might be.
Buyer's appointment.
Now that looks different for everyone because your
Sure.
sphere, your database is very different. So
Sure.
for us, it might be coffee dates, for you, it might be golfing. It's gonna be very different for everyone.
Or you might want to be a stickler and say like, when I say 2 appointments, I mean.
2 appointments.
Listing or buyer
Or buyer
consultation.
consultation, yeah. So, and there are people that do it that way. And
I was just wondering if there was a system that I was missing. I've been using Command and I haven't really seen anything that tracks my numbers where I could make a forecast
Your goal setting.
based on.
Your goal setting does that on command.
And I think that when you're making calls and making those notes, I think that should track into that.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of who would be the best.
Maybe
poss-
Nicole probably.
So, okay, so I just set up mine.
Okay.
And I didn't, it's not necessarily exactly what I did with Shanna, but it gives me a ballpark of like.
It's-
Now, did Shanna have a template that she followed?
Yeah, it's
or-
it's the MREA economic model.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so what
okay.
we did is just, how much do
use
you want? Yeah,
Average numbers.
what
and-
is my average commission, my average sales
Sure,
price
sure,
based on
sure,
my
sure.
closed deals, and then
Sure,
based on that, we
Copy
did
time.
how many deals I need to do each month. But to me, I think for the both of us, we don't see lead generation as cold calling
yeah, I don't.
and door knocking.
Yeah.
We,
So it's hard for us to track in
so
that
it's,
way.
yeah, because we do have, like, she has her,
So I'm not missing
Coffee.
something. I feel better because
I
that's
think
kind of my
it's-
model as well, is more organic.
Yeah, and I think it really just depends on the person, and I think a system could be created
Yeah.
for whatever you're trying to
Mhm.
do. I think for us, ours, like, I know Maria does know she's gotta do 2 appointments a week. She puts that on her mirror. She's got a thing
Yeah.
that says, where are my 2 appointments
Where
this
are my
week
2
coming
appointments? Yeah.
from?
And what are
Whereas-
those identified as?
so those are people that I know I will be working with. Now, that also includes, so like one of my goals this year is to also build my profit share. So that also is part of my lead generation, because there's relationships I want to build with certain agents. And then again, I'm not going to the coffee appointment being like, come to KW right now, it's more so, how are you doing? Like, how can I be a resource? Do you need help with anything? Are you struggling with anything? How's life? Like, just making relationships with people. And naturally, that conversation is gonna come up. So it's just gonna be dependent on what it is, your ideal client, what it is that you are looking for. And that also comes up to, do you know who your ideal client is? Do you know who you want to be working with? So for me, my sphere is completely different than Amy's sphere. Even when we come up with events, we think about, okay, this event is gonna be for this particular group, and then we're gonna gear it towards this other particular group. So yeah, that's the beauty of real estate, is that you get to build your own business,
Mhm.
and it's gonna look different for everyone. Now, you should be tracking that. So for Amy, she's not tracking like, where are my 2 appointments? But she also knows that if she's not having her coffee dates, then she's not good. Like,
And that's what I track. I track how many conversations did I have this week,
Mhm.
and I will look at in person, like coffee dates, lunches, networking group, phone calls and texts. And so I track that every week to see how many people, because remember I told you guys, like, whatever conversation I'm having, I'm slipping in a little tidbit about real
Absolutely.
estate. And
Absolutely.
so that's what I track.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily, so it's hard to say like, how many conversations did it take to get to this?
Yeah,
I'm really just, and this is a big thing that Maria and I have talked about this year, is separating the activity from the outcome. If I'm having the coffee dates, if I'm having the conversations, if I'm going to my networking groups, then the business is going to follow.
yeah.
And if I think to myself, I did all this and I didn't get anybody to call me this week, I'd be miserable,
Yeah.
so I have
Right,
to
right,
just focus on
Right.
enjoying the activity, knowing that it will lead to business.
And I think that a lot of the
That's not my
times
model.
we get stuck on lead generation.
Being a
Lead
certain-
generation leaves, it looks different for everyone. Again, like, and I say like cold calling because I don't like cold calling, but that's just personal preference. Now, if you talk to like Drew with the Grady team, who's their ISA, he's a machine, like it's a skill, like that's what he does, that's how he lead generates. Now, for me, it's more so just networking and building relationships. So how are the activities that you're doing every day your lead generation resources? You don't have to just sit down and pick up the phone and call people and be miserable. You can, you know, if you like golfing or if you like, I don't know, whatever people like. Whatever people like, whatever you enjoy to do, how can you turn that into a lead generation source? If for you it's reading, make a book club of people that you know. If it's crocheting, make a group of people that crochet and like you guys sip on coffee or whatever you want it to be. You can turn any activity into a lead generation resource. So don't see it as this daunting task of, oh my God, I have to call people again. Like that just sounds miserable. So just look at it as something that you enjoy doing and the business will come. Now turn to feed your database page in your participant guide. The second law is to feed your database. Who remembers from the previous session, what are the 2 pathways for feeding leads, contacts into your database? 2 pathways.
You can upload them or you can type them in. Is that what you're asking?
Are we talking about prospecting
No.
versus marketing?
There you go,
Oh,
ding,
okay.
ding, ding.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Totally read it off the page,
Read it off.
but I at least vocalized it.
Yeah.
You all sat there.
He's like cheating. Oh my gosh, yeah, so prospecting and marketing feeds your database. What does feed your database mean?
That's a great question.
Grow,
Grow.
Add new
grow your database,
names.
yeah.
So this law is about adding people to your database, just as we discussed yesterday. And first you add all the people that you know in your sphere of influence and people you encounter regularly. So Sherry, I know you weren't here yesterday, right?
I haven't been here except online once on YouTube, so.
Yeah. So one of the things that the group did yesterday is that we had 15 categories and they thought about people in those categories. So like doctors, auto repair, nail salon, people that you encounter every day in categories of your life that you don't see as a sphere, but that are your sphere because you see them all the
I
time.
will catch up, but I.
No, you're good. No, I'm just trying to fill you in.
Thank you.
Okay. So the rest of your feed comes from what? If it's not your SOI, it comes from
Prospecting and marketing.
lead generating, which, yeah, lead generating. In the previous session, you learned the difference between prospecting and marketing, and you also explored different ways to prospect in your everyday life and through your sphere. Prospecting is actively seeking leads and building relationships through your conversations. It's a cost-effective and you are able to directly hear if and when the person is able, ready, and willing to do business. Now, marketing is a passive pathway for feeding your database, and you are putting information out in print or via social media, for example, and waiting for leads to seek you out. So you want to be prospecting heavy and marketing enhanced. That doesn't mean that there is ways to do social media as a lead generation source, but again, it's not your only source. Now, Amy and I do social media and she's getting referral business and repeat business and stays top of mind because we're actively putting social media content out. Now, if you're not calling your people, and we are in a internet world now, so how do you know what's going on in people's lives? How do you know? Yeah, exactly. How do you know if, your friend Susie from middle school had a baby? Facebook. So use that to your advantage. Market yourself and use that as your profile for people to look you up and find you. Now, building your database can be accomplished economically by asking everyone you know who they know and who might benefit from your services or may have an immediate real estate need. Who has a hard time asking for referrals or like telling their people, hey, I'm in real estate? Do you know of anyone?
For me, it's easier to ask them if they know anybody than to ask them about themselves.
Tell me more about that. Why?
it kind of feels intrusive or feels like I'm asking them about their money or their finances or their, but if I say, well, you know, do you know anybody? It just seems easier to me.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure, I don't know exactly why, but that seems easier to me.
I actually have never thought about it that way because I feel like I hate asking for things from people. So when
I
I,
feel like I'm asking more like
Of
of them personally.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
I think if you can ask them, who do you know that I can help? Is
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wanting to help, I think changes,
Mhm.
you're not asking to help you get clients.
Right.
You're asking them to help you help the people. Always coming from contribution
Yeah.
is easier.
It is
Mhm.
easier when you come from contribution, yeah, but I totally understand that. It does feel a little bit like not slimy because you're not slimy, but it just feels like, ugh, like, I don't wanna ask you to do business with me. But at the same time, they know you, they trust you.
well, if they choose not to, for whatever reason, then they're gonna feel, or they're gonna feel quite uncomfortable. But if they refer other people that they know and they don't do
Yeah.
business with you, they're not gonna, well, I tried, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and all you can lose by asking is them saying no, and
Yeah.
and that's it. Thank you for sharing, yeah. So you learned earlier that many top agents run highly productive businesses strictly from their sphere of influence. Now, your sphere of influence is your source, again, for new, repeat, and referral business. Now, new businesses come when someone in your sphere begins thinking about buying or selling, and they think of you. Repeat business comes from clients you've helped in the past who were so pleased with the service and experience you provided that they ask for you again. And referral business comes from clients who have used you before or know of your stellar service and recommend you to people in their sphere. How many of you guys ask for reviews throughout the transaction?
About throughout at the end.
At the end?
At the end.
At the end? But you ask for them? Okay. You ask for those reviews. That brings credibility to what you do. And again, people are using the internet to look for real estate agents. And if you don't have a Google business page, then you should create one so that you also come up and have your reviews on there as well. Who might your sphere refer you to?
Say again?
Who might your sphere refer you to?
Their
Family,
friends,
their friends. Mhm. Who else?
their coworkers,
Mhm. Their children.
their children.
It might refer you to a bank teller when you're depositing the check.
Yeah, I was actually
From
telling
the
you.
closing.
Yeah, I was actually telling the group yesterday, I was like, if you don't go into the bank anymore, maybe you should, just so that you can talk to the bank teller and make them a part of your sphere. So how do you ensure that your sphere will refer you?
By staying in contact.
Staying in contact? How do you ensure that your sphere will refer you?
Well,
Do a
stay-
good service when you have, if you have a client and that he becomes your sphere, and if you do a good job and they fall in love with you, they're gonna always refer
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so by doing a good job,
Staying in touch with them, you know, invite them to your business page and send them a newsletter.
Mhm.
Show them, send them information about successes. And just staying in touch with them. Whoever said that, somebody else said that,
Mhm.
so.
I think follow-up's key. I've been a realtor for 15 years and I haven't always been good at following up.
Mhm.
And I'll even see someone that I had a really good transaction with and really built a sincere relationship with. And then I'll notice 5 years later, they used somebody else to sell their house that I bought them.
Mhm.
So if you don't stay in contact
Mhm.
and you don't work the name awareness, I'm first one guilty of that, that
Mhm.
you'll lose business.
Yeah,
And how many have I lost that I didn't see or I didn't catch, you know? And so my New Year's resolution, even after 15 years, is for me to be so good at follow-up that never happens again.
That's good.
Because it's happened too much over the 15 years while I was just running and gunning
Yeah.
and felt like I had enough business that I was making a good living but I didn't really, that was what attracted me to Keller Williams. Because I'm really going to start putting some of these things in place. And I needed systems to be able to do that
Right.
in a real high level.
Thank
So,
you for sharing. Yeah, so you can ensure that they refer you business by explaining to them how they can refer you business. Sometimes people don't know that, you know, like, how do I refer, like, it's really simple. You share my contact information, but they don't know. They don't know how you want to be contacted or if you care, if they share your contact information. So just tell them like, hey, if you know of anyone, please send my phone number to them. They can call me or text me whenever. By sharing how important it is to you. So if you really show how important it is to you that they refer you and that you know, throughout the transaction, I try to tell my clients, like, I want to make sure that you know that I'm not just here to help you just to close a transaction. Like, I want to get to know you and I want to celebrate this with you. And, you know, if you have kids, I want to be able to send you a card and be excited for you because they're eventually going to outgrow that house or move to another town or whatever it might be. So just keeping in relationship with those people is important and they can fall through the cracks whenever you're busy with the current transaction.
or if you don't have a
Or
CRM.
if you don't have a CRM, yeah.
Yeah.
So your sphere generally wants to help you and you can easily feed your database with referrals from them. And an easy way to keep in touch with your database is care calls, you know? If it's cold out, hey, make sure you leave the water trickling tonight. Or, hey, I'm gonna drop off the faucet covers for my clients, it's cold out. Whatever it might be, hey, you know, fall, there's leaves all over the place, I'm gonna send out someone to clean your gutters. It's really easy to just pick up the phone and do a little care call and be like, hey, how you been? Like, haven't seen you in a while, is everything okay? Is the house doing good? You know, I know that the leaves are falling. Do you mind if I send someone out there to clean your gutters? Who's not gonna like that? I know my husband would. I know my husband would. He'd probably would tell me like, why don't you send people over to our house? You're my realtor. All right, so let's go to your participant guide. Now, there are other ways that we can feed our database. You can encourage your database to write a testimonial. So like we were just talking about, make sure that you're asking for those reviews. And when you post these on social media through your agent site or any other form of marketing, you may attract leads also. One of the things that we've also been talking about is how for us, it's really nice to put like, just hold this house. You know, that's relevant as an agent. As a buyer, yeah, you might say like, oh, they're doing a ton of business. But how cool would it be if you shared, you know, just sold this. Here's what I learned, or here's, you know, what my clients had to say. Like, here's how I built my relationship with them. Tell a story to the people that are going to see that, because as an agent, we understand like, oh my gosh, they're closing so many deals. And as a regular person, it's like, oh yeah, another person that they helped buy or sell. Ta-da, good for them. That's the story, you know, that's, if they care about you, they'll be happy for you, but for the most part, they're just gonna scroll past it. Same with the reviews. You can tell a story through the review. You can post the review and then say, hey, look at this amazing review my client left me. I really liked working with them because of these qualities that they had. This is what I learned from them. There's many different ways where we can engage in conversation with the people that are seeing our social media and our reviews and everything. And make sure that if they're leaving a review, that you're also responding to the review and saying, thank you for leaving me a review. If they're a vendor or someone that you know has a small business, maybe return the favor back and leave them a review and let them know like, hey, I appreciate so much that you did this for me. In return, I also left you one. I didn't realize I hadn't done that, you know? Offer an item of value related to real estate on social media, and people will opt in to receive it from you. So what is something that you could create for the social medias that people get and that you could capture information from? That is real estate related, so
How to prepare your house for sale.
how to prepare your house for sale. A guide on how to prepare your house for sale.
It could be how to prepare your house for winter.
How to prepare your house for winter,
It
yeah.
can just be something that you're trying to add value, but you're not selling yourself as a real estate
Mhm.
agent.
Hey, maybe a campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe a
Yeah.
campaign.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Come from contribution, like Liliana was saying. When you come from contribution and you're just trying to help.
Yeah.
They see that, rather than, I heard someone when I was a brand new agent of having commission breath, when you're just like, oh my God, I have to close a deal. Oh my God. And people can feel that when you're just here to like,
Yeah.
buy or sell for me, buy or sell for me. They feel like just a number, rather than you making building a relationship with them and coming from contribution. The business comes naturally.
Mhm.
So logistically
It does.
speaking, how do you do an opt-in? Does Command have that capability? Do you do it on your website?
Yeah, so there's many different ways that you could do it. I know that there's systems for it. Something that we started implementing is a link tree. Where we have like a Google form for people to fill out.
Oh,
If you have your KW website attached to your command, that's also, or your social media, that's also another way to capture people's information.
Okay.
If you don't know how to like capture it directly, you can make a post and say like, hey, I'm working on a guide about blah, blah, blah. Are you interested in receiving one? And people will comment, and then you can take that time to see who commented and respond to them, and then send them a message or call them and say, hey, I don't have your email, or hey, I didn't have your phone number and I was trying to call you to get your email. Would you mind giving it to me, you know? Just open that conversation and get their information, and it's really just that. Now, raise your hand if you have a friend, family member, business contact, whatever it might be, that would write a testimonial for you right now. If you texted them right now, that they would.
I think so.
When you ask a business contact for a review, you will reciprocate and write a review or testimonial for them. Now, focus on your sphere first, since they are your cheerleaders. Even though you may not have closed a transaction or may only be working towards your first few, you can still leverage testimonials and reviews as you build and establish those relationships. People don't have to have worked with you to know that you offer good service. You could have, you know, if you were a paralegal and they worked with you for whatever, you can tell them, hey, you know, I'm trying to gather reviews. If you had a good experience with me, would you mind sharing a review about my character and my work ethic? You know? So use that to your advantage and ask for those reviews. If you have referral partner agents in other states, text them and tell them, hey, do you have a Google business page or somewhere where I can leave a Google review? I'm actually working on that right now and I would love to give you one. Would you mind leaving one for me? All right, now turn to feed your database. Testimonials and reviews page in your participant guide, please. I'm gonna have you guys form pairs. Yeah, pairs. And brainstorm other areas of business or customer service related to your real estate career that you could ask someone to provide a review or testimonial on. So brainstorm or a list of areas of business or customer service related to your real estate career that you could ask real estate reviews for.
They got painters, construction workers, rehabbers.
So think back on your value proposition. So proposition from a day for along with previous job experience. So if you worked with someone, let's say you worked, I don't know, what have you worked on before?
And if you work
What was
with
your
lenders,
previous job?
Yeah, that too.
Um,
So what do you guys do?
Call center for timeshares.
Okay, so did you have a coworker that you liked?
What do you guys do other than?
Let's say that you do have someone that you can call and ask for a review. It would be contacting them and saying like, hey, would you
You're not gonna have a
mind,
need for
you
time.
know, giving me a
Other
review,
than
And I say, hey, you know,
whatever,
even if it's not
whatever
somebody
you
I'm
can
gonna
think
deal
of.
with,
Okay.
you know,
And then
my personality and my caring for
Favor
people,
or,
would
you
you,
know, build a
you know,
conversation from there,
or
like
like
they're
we
still
did
there,
work
there.
together as far as like a
You
lender
can be
handyman or somebody like that, would you please leave me a review? If you
Or
send them the link to their
So
phone,
you
they
gotta-
are really likely to do
You gotta
it.
build that.
I
business-
do
And then
business
just say, hey,
relationship.
if you send me a
Then
link,
reach
I'll
out
be
to
happy to do that for you too.
But then if you know some already, you could just go ahead. and
I
go
do
to the
that,
site,
that's
leave a
what I do,
review,
I
say,
send a
"Hey,
text,
But-
right after close, you know,
left
way,
your review.
depends on the
I
transaction.
appreciate you, and, you know.
So like
yeah.
here, I'm gonna put handyman. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
so,
write Tom Schaefer here
What else?
because he just did some work
I mean, I
recently.
think, yeah, I think a lot of small businesses, you know,
Review and tell him I'll leave.
Right.
Oh my God, it's good for these things.
Great, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
I have a lot of,
yeah, I don't think there's
Um,
really any,
you know, families that I'm still
Specific
close to, that I know, and they
you know,
will
how do I
always
wanna say
write
this?
me
I
a
don't think
review
it
if I
has to be
want.
just
I haven't
specific
done
to
it,
Write a
I'll
list
just
of
be
people
able
that
to
you could ask a review.
just sit and
So,
go back and
I'll
talk
I
to
guess
that
the whole thing,
person.
I would want to say
Um,
is just build up your business to business relationships
Yeah.
with all types.
yeah.
You could do other business.
Then
and-
can you make a
sorry.
list of people that you would ask for, a
You
review,
see, you know?
that you would, or that you would go to a
You can ask
website?
them to give you a review.
Yeah, who would you go to right now? Just who pops in your mind that you'd leave a review for?
That I would leave a review for.
Mhm.
Restaurants. I mean, that's
Like which
a.
one? You know, I'm just having fun.
Yeah, yeah, what restaurant would I want to leave a review? I'm gonna leave a bad review for. what I just went to.
That won't work.
That wouldn't work.
Hey, I just left you a bad review. Could you leave me a review? Oh, okay, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know, we just had someone, we had a tree trimming service come in and trim our trees. Did an excellent job, very professional. The whole thing, you know, there was a snow and stuff and they called us in plenty of time and rescheduled a week later and they came in and did consultation and I mean, everything was just top notch.
Who were they?
It was Ryan,
Okay.
Ryan Tree
Oh my
Service.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
gosh,
expensive.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
good. I used them before. They're all over. I think they're in
Okay.
Kansas City.
So
Yeah, we had a
what do
tree
you
there.
need?
How often do you do a
need?
newsletter?
Once a month.
You know, Died.
You feel like that's enough?
Yeah, we send a pretty extensive, I mean, it's not super long, but Onward actually does it for us.
Yeah.
And
Kind of grew.
we have
Man,
articles
water.
that we choose.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that house. Uh-huh.
Why the spring market is like a good time
You know,
to
they're going
sell.
to a lot of houses.
Or,
Yes.
and the Onward sends you the options that you can pick from. And then we add community events. We have a vendor spotlight on there as well.
Is there a cost to Onward to do
Yes.
how much is it?
I believe it's 150
Uh-huh.
a month. Yeah, and but they handle sending it, everything.
And they handle the content
Yes,
options.
They let
everything.
you, they let
They
you
send
choose it.
you, yeah, they send you an intake form
Right.
with the articles available
Which I was thinking.
and like which ones you'd like to have on there. And
Thanks,
then
Lord.
if you want to,
Okay, that's
like,
what
we wanted to add a
did. Last
vendor
time I talked to
spotlight,
Jack,
so
that's
we
what he
have to send
said.
them like that information.
A vendor spotlight is
yeah.
somebody you're using.
Someone that we're
No.
using, that we trust, that we
Okay.
highlight each month.
Yeah,
And then we have, if we had a transaction that we wanna spotlight, we
last
also
time I
put it
saw
on
him,
there,
he
like,
really
hey,
looked
this is
that-
the transaction we
that well.
closed, this is what we learned. And
does
then,
that featured person that you're featuring on the newsletter, do they contribute financially?
who?
The one that
The
you're
vendor.
featuring, the vendor that you're featuring on your newsletter?
Are they referring business to me? Is that what you
No,
mean?
do they contribute to the cost of the newsletter?
No, I see it as a value proposition for my
Yeah,
vendors.
yeah.
So I just add them on there.
I agree.
So yeah, we have that on there and we also have community events. So
Okay.
we added, like when, especially during the fall, that we have so many like fall fests and stuff.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
put them all on there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah,
Haley the one to get a hold of?
so Haley is with Cronkite now, with Onward, but through Cronkite, but you could talk to Haley about it. I think Katya is the new girl handling newsletters.
But I can
She's here
get
during the
you.
week, but yeah, you could talk to Haley about it and she could point you in the right direction, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To create a Google business page, do you have to have anything more than a realtor license? No, so
Went
you,
to, with his house.
You don't
I
need
sold
to
the
have a
house
license,
to
do you?
him.
you do because you can't
Next
promote
by
yourself
that
as a
Mercy.
real estate
Oh,
agent
okay.
until you're licensed.
Mhm.
But no, I guess what you're asking is
Okay.
there anything else you need? No,
nice.
you just have to wait for your license to come in. And then I know that there's like a verifying process that Google has that you have to go through.
Who are you talking to?
Mary online.
Tell Mary I said hi.
Website.
Hello, Mary.
Okay.
They can, yeah. Oh, actually-
Anything regarding that program, 405B.
And it could be.
They can hear.
The title company, hopefully she can, is this house, whose name is it?
Your, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
some.
okay.
It's coming up.
Okay, now,
It's in your website.
Mhm.
It's on the website.
write down 5 names that you will ask for a testimonial or review immediately after class. So did you write names of people you'll ask for reviews? No?
We wrote down businesses.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
we have association with those businesses, so
Okay, so now
their
you
names
can,
are there.
yeah, so their names are there. Okay, perfect. So then those are the people that you are going to be calling today.
We have to use the phone.
You have to use the phone. Imagine that. Imagine that. Now, what do you do when someone writes a testimonial or a review for them?
You write a response saying, thank you, I appreciate it, and then write a review for them.
Now, remember, to use your testimonials on your social media, but then you can also use them on your pre-listing guides. So that they can see that as well, because not everyone's gonna look you up on social media and be
How
able
do you
to.
recommend doing it?
What is your name and your phone number?
You just make a post. So I normally, like how I share the review,
Yeah.
so normally I have them put them on Google and then I just copy paste it and I do a graphic on Canva where I put the review and.
How do you announce it? What do you, what's your post
Give
look
me
like?
some time and
I can
I
show
will
it to
call you, okay, David?
Cause I'm real cautious,
You're
I'm
welcome,
real
thank you, bye-bye.
cautious not to put
Yeah, thank you, David,
Much.
bye-bye.
about business or myself, promoting my business.
where?
Because of the 80-20 that
Yeah.
everybody recommends so I'm trying to find that balance. That's why I ask.
Tell me more about that. I'm not sure I'm understanding.
The 80-20 principle for social media,
Yeah.
only mention your business 20% of the time, 1 out of 5 posts. So that you don't bombard people with, making them feel like all you're on there for is to try to get business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
So I was just curious how you did it.
Yeah, so our post, I can show you what our post.
But the
looks like.
caveat there was that 80-20 was on your personal profile.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
On your business page, you could post as much about real estate as you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but you're talking
I,
about personal, right?
no, I'm talking about I put this on my real estate page,
Oh,
The
not
review.
your personal.
not my personal.
See, I was
Yeah.
talking about your personal.
No, so, I do social media differently. I
What do you mean
post,
by that?
so Facebook, for example, like my Facebook, I have my business page and then I have my Facebook
Right.
profile.
Right,
I don't really care to use Facebook. So a lot of my posts on my page are real estate related, but then I also incorporate personal on there as well. But if you go on my personal page, you're not gonna see a lot of,
Real estate.
no, you're not gonna see a lot of personal stuff. I
Oh.
just share my real estate
People
stuff.
her age are into IG and TikTok
Yeah,
more than
so,
they're gonna
but
be
then
on
if,
Facebook.
exactly, but then if you go on my TikTok or my Instagram, I have a TikTok where I just I post both. Where it's my personal life and so I have a little mix of everything, where I post my real estate informational stuff, but then I also just post like whatever travel I did at a time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think sharing your reviews is definitely a good way to add credibility when people look you up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Um,
get that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
But
we
I
were
get
talking
that.
about two different
two
pages.
different things, yeah, I was like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, but I'm with you now, I'm
But
with
you
you.
got us on the right page.
Yeah, you got us on the right page, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so make sure you're leveraging those, make sure you're putting your reviews on your listing guides too, on your
Yeah.
pre-listing presentations. I even go to the extent, if I had a really awesome transaction with my client where like they have no reason to be mad at me, I also ask them, would it be okay if a client ever asked to give you a call? Is it okay if I share your information with them? Typically, they're okay with that. So I ask my VIP clients like, hey, would it be okay if I share your contact info if someone wants to check me up with a past client?
Right.
And they're usually fine with that, yeah.
So where can these guys get examples of pre-listing presentations and
There's
buyer
someone-
consultations and those kind of things?
So there's been some trainings that the coaching program has had. If that's something that you're interested in, I can talk to
Well, I
Lee.
have my own, but
Yeah,
they don't have their own.
yeah,
And I would like to maybe use some examples to tweak my own,
yes.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So-
Command has some in there.
Command does have some.
Where at?
If you go
And you
to,
can buy them on Etsy
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
And-
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and edit them in.
yeah.
And you can also, if you go into the campaign or
We're at in Command.
go into campaigns and
Oh,
then,
campaigns, okay.
wait a minute, that's not right. Go to the bottom where it says consumer. Nope, that's not it. Hang on. There it is, the little paintbrush thing that says designs. There's like your guide to home ownership, and these are just things I've saved. Last year for tax season, I did tax deductions home sellers need to know. I also did, buy a home with your tax return.
Mhm.
Those kinds of things. So there's all kinds of stuff in there and you can use their template. And you can also import stuff that you've created in
Where
Canva.
are you at?
Okay, so the third one up from the bottom, it's the little paintbrush
Uh-huh.
on the palette.
Designs?
Right, so you can go in there and you can look for designs that, that Keller Williams has done, or if you
Mhm.
click create a new design, you can go and use their templates.
Yeah.
Or you can import stuff from Canva, which is my best friend.
Of the kind of things I was
love
talking about.
Canva.
I'll give it a call.
Yeah, so, and I can definitely talk to the market center about it, so that we did
You
have
can look at
one.
mine if you want later.
Yeah, we did have
Sure.
one.
You can publish it on command, so people can use it.
Yeah,
And there's so many resources, so if you wanna post on the internal page too,
Uh-huh,
and ask like, hey, is anyone willing to share their
pre-listing.
pre-listing guide? Most likely than not, they will.
Yeah, that's right.
They will. If you take bold, they also in the material have like some pre-listing and listing guides as well as like what you can put on there. But feel free to take advantage of the internal Facebook group too, if you haven't already, because you can post anything on there and someone, unless they missed it because they got like shadowed or whatever, most of the time someone's gonna respond and give you an answer, so don't feel shy about asking. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, any ahas about feeding your database?
I had a few ahas. I loved care calls. I'm gonna do more of that. And you can get really creative with that, and it's just another way to touch your database.
Yeah.
So I really like that. You kind of skimmed over what I would call steering a review. Because you said I would ask somebody to comment on my character
Mhm.
and on my work ethic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, if you just ask them open-endedly for a review, they don't really know where to
What to
start
say,
or
yeah.
what to say.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you kind of steered that conversation where you gave them a couple of ideas and boy, they can run with
Yeah.
that.
Even for my clients, so like, for example, if you ever, one of the things I will implement is asking for the review throughout the transaction. Because if you wait till the end, you might be having a great transaction and you have no idea if the week before the transaction, if poop hits the fan.
Sometimes.
You know, then you're not gonna get that review. But if you are asking throughout the transaction, if you're having a conversation with them and they're like, Maria, you're so great, thank you so much, like, oh my gosh, I appreciate that so much. Would you mind leaving me a review on Google so that I don't have to bother you later? Most of the time they'll do it. If they don't, keep doing it. Keep asking them, ask in different formats, text, email, whatever it might be. And if they still don't do it, just say, hey, you know, would you be okay if I wrote something up for you and you could edit it however you want? And you can just write something really basic about how awesome you are, send them to them and tell them like, does this look good? Would you like to add anything? Let me know and then you just have to copy and paste it to this link. Boom, done.
Ask on the mountaintop, right?
Yeah.
Not in the valley.
No.
Not in the valley.
Not in the valley. Yeah. Any other ahas?
I didn't think about using testimonials, like I didn't think about putting that on social media.
Yeah.
And I like that idea.
That's a good idea.
And like for my social media, I have a business page that I just use for real estate, but also when I talk to people, they don't see that as often as they see your personal page. So,
Mhm.
you know, and also I try to incorporate humor
Yeah.
because people like that and they think it's funny and then
Yeah.
they'll call you because you're super funny. I am funny and I know it. So-
Hey, I relate to that too. If
I'm
you see
like
our social
ridiculous.
media, we have like jokes on there, but that's true. It humanizes you as well. If
Right.
you're all business and all like, this is what the real estate market is doing, like, you know how many realtor friends people have? So many. You know how many realtors are sharing market updates? So many. Like come Monday, they all know what the market is doing. Now, if you make a story out of it, now if you share about how the market is killing, like humanize yourself, just connect with your people in a way that others aren't. Because you need to stand out. And yeah, humor is a part of that. Like if you meet me and you've seen me for 2 days, you know I like to crack jokes. Like even if I have a client that's really stiff, my goal at the end of that presentation is that they laughed at one of my jokes.
Give us an example.
Well, I made my
Yeah, let's
dogs.
see.
Of my jokes, it's
Yeah.
not even that I have
Come
a
on.
joke, it's just that I say things and I just say them funny and they just.
Make something funny out of this current situation.
Also, I made my,
There you go, you
That
laugh.
isn't the way humor
that's
works.
it.
It's more organic
It's
than
more
that,
organic.
right?
So I made my dogs t-shirts that say, my mom sells real estate so I can live a better life.
Yeah.
And then I take
Adorable.
pictures of them in it and people love it. when you
Yeah.
Put their
That's
pets
adorable.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just used my. cricket
Yeah,
and
it
my-
really does humanize you, and that's the thing is that, they wanna get to know us, and we live, with COVID and everything was digital, everything was social media, that's how you got to connect with people, and that's why videos and reels and like all of these things have become so big. It's because it's a way for people to connect with others when there was a time where we couldn't.
Yeah.
So just see it as a tool. It can be scary and you can feel silly or you can, whatever it might be, just find what works for you and go with it. But use it in a way to connect with your audience.
Another thing though, like, here's something I do with my social media, like, I try to pull out something about my town, because I live in Bolivar. And I always say, reason number, 1,850 to live in Bolivar. Well, the last one I did, we have otters in our park pond that have just shown up, they're river otters. And so like, I'm like, does your park have otters? We have otters here, and I have pictures of
Yeah,
them.
and that's the thing, you are the real estate expert. And being a real estate expert doesn't just mean that you know how many houses sold, what the average sales price is, whatever amount of transactions you did. It's about, do you know what's going on in the community? Do you know, like for example, for me, my ideal client is family, like families, young couples that are starting a family or have a family and are growing. That's my ideal client. So I have groups I'm a part of that are for moms that I can connect with, that are close to my age, that I can relate to. And how do I incorporate that? I talk about it in the community, because there's people that are moving here, especially when you're a mom and you're like, I don't know anyone, and all I have is this baby. And if I talk baby for one more second, I'm gonna go insane. So being the real estate expert also means that you are the community expert and that you know what's happening. So when we even have like trainings, like team meeting next week where transportation's coming, you should be in those team meetings, because you should be knowing what streets are coming and going and changing and moving. Because come 20 years from now, surprise, there's a street coming. You already knew that. You had already prepared your clients for that. So make sure that you know and are plugged into the community and not just the numbers of this is how many transactions I have to sell. Anything else? More ahas, more questions? The third law is to communicate with your database. Surprise. In the previous session, you learned about the importance of relationships in real estate, along with the different ways you can communicate with your database, called touches. Communicating with your database will be accomplished through these touches, and you will pair those with meaningful, relevant, and timely information. So how many touches should we be having with our database?
A million.
I mean, what touches a what? Touch is just a touch,
Communication.
some kind of communication,
Some sort of
Facebook,
communication.
social media, phone call, email,
But it could
anything.
be one way.
I would say per client, at least one touch a month.
Yep.
That's what I would say, but you might have a better answer.
So
You
36
probably have a funny
touches
answer too.
a year. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that. So to succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with the database with the intent of building close relationships. What can you tell me about that? Sounds redundant, right? Just build relationships, guys.
Close relationships.
This quote says you must commit to frequent contact.
Just go and say hello. That's
So
all.
how long should you commit to building relationships?
The rest of your life.
Yeah, forever, while you're in business, forever. It
Yeah,
never ends.
eventually, we probably should contact a few funeral homes and build a relationship there.
Hey. Hey, I'm planning my funeral and I would like for you to be my person. I wanna know how you treat your people. That is not a bad idea. It sounds morbid, but it's not a bad idea.
That's my humor.
Yes, forever while you're in business. And we'll discuss the model and systems for doing this in the next segment, which is on lead follow-up. Now, the way you communicate with your database will depend on whether it's with leads or contacts. And remember that in Ignite, we are focusing our attention on relationship building and strengthening with our contacts or our sphere, those whom we have permission to have two-way conversations with. It's gonna make it a lot easier if you already have that established relationship with someone of you knew them somehow than calling someone that you don't know. Refer to your Communicate Systematically page in your participant guide. And as a see, what are some segments or categories you might already naturally have in your database? An easy one is homeowners versus renters. What else? What are some other categories you can put people in
guess-
The vendors, agents,
versus vendors? versus
title
agents?
company.
Who else?
Makers, candlestick makers.
Children versus without.
There we go.
Yeah.
If there's relocating.
I use all my tags to keep track of that stuff because it's hard otherwise if you're not using your tags. And I found out I can change the colors of my tags, which helps.
But they don't have enough colors,
They don't.
No,
You know?
They need more
We
colors.
do.
do need more
not
colors.
many more.
Which also
Much bigger.
brings me to the next point. Once you categorize them and put them into segments, you tag them. Yeah, we tag them. Makes everything so much easier when we tag them. Now, you don't want to do so many tags that then it becomes hard to track your people, right? If you have too many, there is such a thing as having way too many tags. Look at the list you just generated. Since people are more likely to respond when the information you send and communicate directly impacts them, it's important to purposely categorize your database so the target message appeals to them. And you gotta keep in mind that this is not set in stone. This is not set in stone. It is flexible and will change as your database and your relationships grow and develop. People may belong in multiple segments of your database, and that is perfectly acceptable. Don't feel like one person just needs to stick to one tag. They can have multiple tags on there. Potential additional categories that you might include could be past client. So if you close a transaction with them, you definitely should be tagging them as past client. Referral client, if there's someone that was a referral client. A VIP client, those are your clients that are constantly sending you referral business. Those are the people you want to be constantly nurturing and having conversations with and inviting to events and sending birthday cards, holiday cards, event invitations, all of the things. These are your number ones. The people that are, you know, your cheerleaders and are always like sending you people. Specific hobbies or interests. So if it's investors, you might want to tag them. Military or veteran might also be another good tag. The property type. So if they're looking for multifamily. If it's someone that's a renter, you might want to tag them as renter. What are some ways that you might further segment the list that you just generated? So what are some tags? Throw some tags at me.
I have friends in mind just so that I don't know why I put it in there, but I did.
Mhm.
I mean, I know they're my friends, but sometimes my friends become my customers, my clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This also is going to help you for when you're doing your calls as well. Because if you have a tag, then you can think, okay, this is, you know, I gotta keep in mind that they're a renter, they're military, and I met them at an open house, whatever, something like that. It helps you keep track. And it makes everything so much easier. Use your command, use your tags, and the conversations will go a lot smoother for you.
Yeah.
The messaging to those segments should be relevant to likes, dislikes, interests, or based on past interactions with you. Even though the words and topics of your messaging will change, there are some things that will remain consistent no matter what segment you are communicating with. Your messaging matches the motivation of that segment. So for example, on here, we have golf investor dog lovers. Great tags. Great tags, especially if you are in like volunteer somewhere with dog walking or humane society or some sort. Same touch newsletter. customized messaging. You can get as nitty gritty as that, you know, if you want. It's a great way to just connect with your people and talk to them in the same language so that they're not lost. You're not gonna talk to the dog lovers the same way that you would talk to the golf lovers.
So in that example, they're talking about writing 3 different newsletters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like I said, you don't have to get that nitty gritty. You really don't. But then again, this can be an example for when you're doing your lead generation, if you're talking to people and you see dog lover, investor, golf, you can think about, okay, what do I want to talk to them that I can connect with them in a, you know, more meaningful way. Okay, dog lover, are there any dog events going on? You can Google it and then call them, text them and say, hey, I just so happened to see this and I thought of you. I would love to hang out with you and see you there. If you can't, then you can just say, hey, I saw this and I thought of you. I can't make it, but I thought maybe you'd like it. Same with the investor. Investors are probably more numbers based. So just find information based on that. Or if you see a good property, like I saw a good property the other day for one of my investors, I sent it to him and he was like, I can't buy anything right now until I finish whatever he has going on. I was like, oh, no worries. I thought of you and I just wanted to send it. And he was like, send them all my way. I'm like, okay, I'll keep sending them, you know, like just keep in touch. Ask them how they're doing and make conversation, but just keep in touch, stay top of mind.
So I don't know, I didn't really have anything to say to a dog lover, but then I did a quick AI, said, give me a quick message for dog lovers, and it popped up a nice little
Yeah.
thing, so don't forget about AI, it's a lifesaver.
Oh my gosh.
We don't have to think anymore.
Wow.
You're having a creative block, you know? Even if you don't know what to say, like sometimes the words are just not wording. So you need help, you know? So you can put it on there. And the nice thing about it is also that you can create your ideal audience. So if you say, you know, write an email for so-and-so who is very direct, very to the point, you know, like this, and it'll do it for you with all the information that you need, and you just kind of edit it to your own tone, but it is a great tool to use as well. So your messaging needs a method, a way to be communicated, and when communicating with your database, this will come from your targeted marketing, also known as your touch campaigns, which we will dig deep into the lead follow-up segment. So again, remember, you can be prospecting enhanced, prospecting focused and marketing enhanced, but doesn't mean that you don't do one or the other. You have to supplement. Now we'll dig deeper in upcoming sessions on both 19 to connect, Ignite session 11, and 36 to convert, Ignite section 12. And now let's brainstorm items of value. Now, when you communicate, regardless of the message, segment or touch, you always pair that communication with value. So place of contribution, again, come from a place of contribution. Some items of value might be items like market statistics, seasonal prep checklist for homeowners, like the winter checklist that Jeff had mentioned, real estate forecasting data, what is the market doing? Part of the newsletter, like what we do on our newsletter, was debunking things that people were seeing on the media, because there's so many things that people are seeing on the media. So then we send articles that we know are resourceful and true, and we educate people. Schedule of local events and festivals. People want to know what's going on in the area. They might care if they're looking to buy or sell about real estate, but for the most part, they might read it and be like, another educational email from Maria, great. You know,
She's so
they want-
boring.
God.
Don't invite her. she's
Yeah, don't
boring.
invite her. She just wants to talk about real estate all the time. So schedule of local events and festivals, you know, if you're gonna be at them and you know and you wanna make that a touch, you can even reach out to your VIP clients or the people that you wanna talk to and say like, hey, I'm gonna be here this day. Let's hang out and get together and go walk around farmer's market or whatever. Now, we're gonna work in small groups to brainstorm a list of other items of value. Think of things that you may have also been the recipient of in the past or of things you'd like to have received. So other things that you could bring a value to your database when talking to them. I'll give you guys 5 to 7 minutes to brainstorm. And I'll set a timer.
I'll tell you what I did.
It's gonna be hard to set it for 5 to 10 or 7 minutes. Have to make a decision, 5 or 7.
I bought
Do 6.
everything that I finally, that I buy that I really, really like. I try to share with people. So I had this, I had a stain in my toilet
She talked about.
and I could not get that stain out of it, like dripping the water. And I found this cheap
Leaves clean.
89 cents
So just
toilet
ideas,
brush from
creative
China.
ideas.
and I love that thing.
That
And it's pink.
Mhm.
I bought 100 of them.
kind of starts with the.
And I'm gonna
magazine, see.
Go and see my ex-clients and say,
Like a
hey.
newsletter would be about.
Yeah. I love this brush. I just
Brand
thought,
it, get branded with your name on it.
Linda
Oh,
gets-
no.
well, then you're talking about money, a lot of
You
money.
could add vinyl to it for no, I mean, it would be cheap to add
Give her a
vinyl to it.
referral.
Really?
Just
Or
cut
you
it
could
out.
you imagine
put it on
that?
there.
I was thinking about you
Good
today.
idea.
Clean this shit
Oh,
up.
yeah, I already got it. It was like, it cost me like $70 for one.
Yeah.
Get branded with your name on it.
So I'm gonna give it to them for
I'll say
Valentine's.
that. I'll go to.
That makes people laugh.
Yeah.
I drove.
I mean, they
around-
would, they would think.
And I'm
they
gonna put
wouldn't
a
forget
note.
it.
This is,
So there's lots
you're
of
gonna have
different
a
ideas
a
just to
clean
touch a
Valentine's
person's life
toilet or
at the
something
same
like that,
time.
because it's gonna be a
Do it by
Valentine.
adding
For
value.
Christmas, I drove
So you
around
got
to
any ideas?
everyone's house that
I don't
bought
think
me,
so.
bought a house for me this
Me.
year. And I had ornaments made that had their house and their date, and
Aw.
the house address. I had that made through personalization
Yeah.
wall.
If you personalize things. that
Yes,
really
and
goes
then
a
I
long
brought,
way.
I made a handmade card, I wrote a note to them, and I drove around to their
So what
house,
you do-
unexpected, like they didn't know I was coming.
With your
So if they weren't
I'm just
home, I
gonna put
hung
my
it on
name
the
there.
door. And they got a surprise and
That's
so it
what
was
you
pretty
do.
good, that, it was well
I don't know how
received.
many people you've got on that database.
You know, the people we bought our house
besides
from,
me.
they gave us wind, as like a
You've
gift,
probably
like
got
home,
many
they
people.
gave us wind chimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, the little tube
Uh-huh.
thing,
That's a.
and they're kind of expensive, it's like $150, so it was something, but we hang it up and like
Right,
every time
for
that
encouragement.
it, I mean, we
It
were.
reminds you of
It
them.
does remind you of
Well,
that.
a closing gifts, I like to
The-
give closing gifts, they're gonna have there forever and they always keep
That's
me.
right,
But that was,
that's
that's
right.
a great one.
That's
I don't
right,
do
that's exactly what I
closing
was trying to get
You
you to
don't?
say.
Mm-mm. It's like you just bought a house, man. Here's a candle.
No.
No, I spent about $100.
Here's a toilet brush. You
Hey,
bought
I
a
just made
house.
thousands of dollars on the sale, I spent $100.
What do you get? What do you get?
Well, I order, what I've been doing is I order on Amazon, they have this
So
engraving
as you begin
company,
your
and they
real
have this
estate
cool
career,
charcuterie board,
That's
has a
cool.
chalkboard
That's
in
going
one
to be
side, there's a
valid
round one, or
because
there's a
you're
square
going
one,
to do
has a
real
drawer that
estate.
Yeah.
pulls out with all the forks and knives,
As
and then I
well as
engrave their name on it.
industry.
And so it just like the last one, it was like the Smith family.
Etsy.
Or sometimes I put, if I really love them, I just might put their first and their first names, like Dave and Beth, or
I'll have to-
whoever,
you'll have
but,
to
and they're about
get the
$130, and it is a nice closing gift. I can afford that after they, you know, after I
Yeah.
get that kind of a
Yeah.
deal, and I can write it off, so.
Yeah, that's another point of
Etsy's a
view.
good place to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have ordered,
What's it called?
I have a lot of Latino.
So I think one of the things that
Etsy.
we can send to our
I
clients.
can send you the
is,
link
or
off
to our
Amazon if you guys give
potential
me some
clients, our
contact
database is,
info.
Well, you're not gonna bombard me with a bunch of real estate garbage, are you?
Sure I
I'm
am.
just kidding.
Your antifreezing.
Yeah, well, she see how well she did that? You were getting ready to give her email too. Give her your email.
Oh,
Yes.
Give me
David.Parks,
your.
KW.
And you're left out here, you participating with.
Yeah.
I was with Amy, but she had to go.
Yeah, you're gonna pay.
All right,
That's-
Oh,
I'm gonna send that to
absolutely.
you before I forget.
Absolutely.
the agent
Then
took a
you've
picture
built
of
a
the house, must
relationship
have
with
been
the
right after
vendor
the
and
signing
with your
contract.
clients.
And he had
So,
a local, somebody
still show
do a
them
watercolor of that
Yeah.
picture of the house,
Yeah.
presented it to us
Horizon.
framed,
That's
it's on our wall to this day,
And you see it every time.
yeah,
Anything that's,
it was really
that's,
cool.
actively going on.
I like these ideas.
Information or a resource.
There is a girl here who does, baskets.
Touch,
Okay.
right?
And you tell, you usually say, well, they love to hike and they have kids, and she does something like that. But I was telling you, next year is a guy who does signs in wrought iron on wood, and I ordered several from them. Like my Latino friends, I do them in Spanish, and they love them.
Yeah.
Big signs, or they can put it on the wall.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Oh, like a cutout, like, like this, but in metal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're talking about information
Oh, it's
mostly,
like the newsletter.
rather than actual.
And the guy does
Closing
it
gifts is
really
one thing,
fast.
but when we haven't even gotten to a transaction yet.
Yeah.
It
What
seems
if
like
we
most of the
could
value that we're imparting is information, whether it be real estate information or some other kind, like, as you were talking about. The
Yeah.
events that are coming up.
Yeah.
$5
Yeah.
a piece.
And it is,
Instead of
it really is, because there's, you can't incentivize one.
And it
Right?
goes from, I mean,
Incentivize
38
state.
to like 120. So
In
it's
other
whatever
states,
you
you
wanna.
can.
spend.
You can send.
But information is
Try to
valuable.
get something out of it that they
And you
can
have to think about
use all the time, and they always remember. Yeah.
the lack of information that there is out there. There's a huge need for homeownership education.
Throw away a lot of their snail mail.
And if you come from that place, then
Yeah.
you're going
Most
to
people
stand out.
monitor their email pretty close.
And then the gifts and everything come after that. Like, once my, if I have someone in my sphere that maybe hasn't closed yet, or maybe hasn't sent me a referral, but it's not because they don't want to, it's because they just don't have anyone right now, I still keep in touch with them. And that's not to say, like, one of the things that Amy and I do is we do, family photos as an event for our clients.
Oh, fun,
So we do like
Newsletter.
family mini sessions for them,
nice.
as a client appreciation event, and that's usually for past clients or future clients. And then we also have, a Thanksgiving gift that we do, mostly because a lot of people are doing
Well, I guess you could send your newsletter on.
Christmas or
Right,
whatever.
right.
So you can,
And
like,
there is-
for
let me show you
example,
something that I used,
another one that I
last
thought
year.
about
I think I've
implementing
still
is
got
a
the,
pop by, where I just leave
template of
popcorn in a bag, and it just says, I just popped by to say hello, and you leave popcorn on the door, you know, you just left a little something in there, or
It's gonna show.
a boo bag for Halloween, like you leave a little basket with like candy in there. You can do a little, like,
You can get a.
there's people that you can pay, or you can even pay your kids if you want to, for like Easter, go leave Easter eggs hidden in your client's like front yard, because you won't go in their backyard, but like leave in their front yard and hide it for them and be like, hey, the Easter egg bunny like dropped by, left you a surprise. And even if they don't have kids, like, it's still a really cute thing to do, you know? So there's other ways where you can bring a gift of some sort and like do it that way, and at the same time, if you're thinking budget and all those things, then you wanna come from contribution. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get vendors to sponsor some of these things for you.
And you can even say the same thing.
So that it's just a
like,
matter of how you approach it,
I was
yeah.
thinking about you this morning on your birthday.
Okay, so we'll dig deeper, so what other values could you bring to your database?
I'll let you share, I've got a copy date.
How about okay, so how about a note to them, communicate to them, hey, regular service, 5% discount on a certain auto place.
Yeah.
Would that be a good example?
For
So
sure,
they
yeah.
Just mention, you came in and
Yeah,
they'll give you a 5%. if you
yeah,
mention
it's
my
a
name.
huge way to reach out to them and say like, hey, there's a, there's a 5% discount going on here. Thought of you, it's huge, yeah, that's a great way to have an excuse to pick up the phone too.
Right.
Who else?
I'm down near Branson, so I could let them know about area appreciation days. Call to check in on their safety during cold weather.
Yep.
Or even like get the map from MoDOT about what road conditions are right now.
Yeah.
Decluttering tips,
Mhm.
holiday checklist. Those are some of the things I can.
I love that. Yeah, those are all great. Anyone else? You guys are on fire today. I like it.
We're much better in person than we were.
For sure.
Honestly, you guys did great yesterday. I enjoyed it. Everyone was awesome.
Amy warmed us up.
Yeah, good.
She also had a lot of great things to say about you, so we already felt comfortable.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. So some other things that you could think of is homestead exemption homestead exemption form and general property tax information. One of the things that Onward also does is that they send their settlement statements to my past clients during tax season, like at the end of 2023, at the end of every year for tax purposes. In case they have any write-offs or anything like that, or whatever.
Did
you
that
never
for
know.
me this year,
Yeah,
which was
so
nice.
that's a huge touch, you know?
You said
You,
what again?
your
Settlement statements.
settlement statements
Oh,
from your
okay.
closings.
Nice,
They receive a copy of that when they close.
right.
However, I know personally that
Mhm.
tax season comes and I run. I don't wanna do anything about it. But if someone sent me a settlement statement and did that for me and put it at top of mind, because it saves me the step of having to go through my files and finding my settlement statement and figuring it out. So that's another one. Chamber of Commerce information, Chamber of Commerce information. So if you are involved or if you know of how to get involved in that, people are interested in that stuff, so you can also send them that. Your preferred vendors list. So if you don't have a preferred vendors list, you should. And if you don't, you can call people and say, hey, you know, I'm working on a list of providers that offer 5-star service, and I thought of you, if you have a vendor that you trust and work with. While I have you, do you have anyone else that you can think of that I should add to my list? Let's say they say yes. Okay, awesome. What's their name, email, phone number?
I've done that for my clients. I've just, a sheet of people they can call that they can trust.
Yeah.
That's hard to find.
It
today.
is, and a lot of the times, and that's the thing about follow-up. Stay in touch whenever the rain, whenever the rains happened and the trees fell down all over town and it was a huge mess. I called my clients that lived like Roundtree area where there was like a bunch of trees and stuff, and I called everyone, but I called one specific client that I knew probably could have issues. And I checked in like, hey, do you need any tree removal services? Do you have any branches? Is your house okay? Is everyone okay? Did you lose power? Whatever that might be. It doesn't have to be so deep that you feel like you're selling yourself. Just ask them about their house and how they're doing, you know? Call them to check in, like, hey, is everything good with the house? Like, how's everything? Are you adjusting? Do you have any concern? Whatever it might be, like, just call them and ask. So set these touches up through Smart Plans and Command and use designs to create direct mail and social media campaigns to stay in touch. So 36 touches per year is how many touches your contacts should have. And they're not all in person. So you don't have to call them 36 times in 1 year.
Let me call.
You know, I mean. Do you see now how a database becomes a data bank and when you continually communicate matters of importance to the recipients? Do you guys understand why we need to have our contacts in our database?
Yes, we do.
What naturally happens as you build relationship and continue to show value?
Referrals, repeat business.
People choose to do business with you. Yay! And that's what we're after, right? We want people to do business with us, and it's gonna come naturally when we bring value. Now, you've essentially wasted your time lead generating and putting your contacts in your database
You say
because there
wasted
is
your time?
no, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there is no guarantee that people will think of you when they have a real estate lead. In
Oh.
other words, your database will not be a database. And by the way, the most important communication you can make is the personal phone call. Each person in your database gets 4 calls a year, so 1 a quarter. That's a lot less scary to think about than like
Twice a day.
twice a day. Or when you say lead generating and you're like, I have to make 50 million calls. No, just 1 call a quarter for each client. And make sure that you make one of them a happy birthday call. Make sure that you're getting your birthdays on there. So one of the first things that I do whenever I get a client, I immediately look them up on social media. Immediately. And I add them on social media. And the nice thing about Facebook is that you can get people's birthdays from there. So if you don't know someone's birthday, you can go look on there and add it on command. You can even add social media profiles to command too, if you put their URL on there. So you can get as deep as you want. But imagine that, your real estate agent calling you on your birthday. One of the things that we do is we send birthday cards, and we receive feedback on that all the time because they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't received a birthday card in the mail in so long. I'm like, yeah, now you do. Any ahas about communicating with your database?
I would say it was not necessarily really an aha, but just needing to remember it's not about real estate constantly. It's more about them and acknowledging something significant
Yeah.
in their life, but it's, you know, if they know you well, then something significant in your own life, but anyway.
Well, and can value just be expressing care and concern?
Yeah.
Like you're following up to
Yeah.
check up on the surgery they had 2 weeks ago, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a client of mine, it's so funny to me, mindset, you know, is such an important thing.
Right.
But I had a client of mine who was actually upset at me that more things didn't come up. So we did final walkthrough, we did everything, we were communicating throughout, calls, everything, just the regular communication that I have with everyone. Now I would call and be like, hey, I don't really have like any update, this is where we're at the transaction, if anything comes up, I will keep you posted, but do you have any questions? No questions, perfect, wonderful. Literally nothing bad came up in this transaction. It was so easy. We didn't really have to talk much because of that, but we still kept in touch. Come like day of closing, we were sitting at the table and I was like, hey, are you super excited? Like, we're closing on your house, yay, yay, yay. She's like, yeah, I'm excited. But to be honest, you just like, nothing came up. Like, you didn't tell me anything. I'm like, well, there wasn't very much, like, where do you think I missed the mark? Like, please tell me, you know, what do you think I missed communicating? And she was like, well, like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, did you feel like you understood the inspection process? And she's like, well, yeah, we got, you know, everything was fine. I'm like, okay, did you feel like you understood like where we were at in the, and so I was asking questions. She's like, well, yeah. And then she's like, I guess that just means that you did such a good job that you didn't have to bother me. And so, I mean, but I kept asking questions because I wanted her to get to that conclusion on her own without me having to say like, well, I did my damn job.
Right.
And that's why you're not stressed. The one stressed is me. But even in that sense of sometimes you do such a good job that they might get a little bit, you know, whatever, upset. And then after that, I remember there was some time where I was like, maybe I won't ask her for a review because maybe she's gonna leave me a bad review or whatever. I asked her the review, she left me a good review. And I still have her on social media and I do all the follow-up. She's more of a colder, just in general, she's more of a colder person. But she had loss in her family and I called her during Bold and she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for calling. Like, you really did not have to. And I'm like, you experienced a loss, like, of course I would call you. So just stay in touch, even if you have like, now are there clients I would be perfectly fine never working with again? Yes, absolutely. We're all human, you know, we're not always gonna have people we're gonna wanna work with, but, just because you think someone didn't like you in a transaction or because you think that they're not gonna refer you business, doesn't mean that you should immediately scratch them off and not take them, you know, as someone in your sphere. Stay in touch with those people.
Yeah.
Now, the final law is to service all leads that come your way. This will come in the form of a strong lead follow-up program, which you will get into on day 10 of Ignite. And since you'll be getting all the details then, today we will get you started with the basics. Who would like to read the quote up on the board?
Your job is to build a community and serve the community. Gary Keller.
Man himself. So your business is to build a community and serve the community.
So now our database has become a community?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a bane,
It's
a
big-
database
it's
and a
database
community.
And a community,
Wow.
yeah.
You can almost live there, couldn't
You
you?
can almost live there.
And you will be.
Your database is not only a container for information, it's your business, it's your community. Gary Keller thinks of it in this way is that my job is to connect with you, put you in my database and be your realtor for life. He thinks of his database as a community that he serves, and he adds, the size of a community is determined by you. It's a great reminder that real estate is a relationship business. I shared with some of you that when my husband and I moved from California in 2019, when we knew no one. And then COVID happened, yay, 2 months later, we were shut down. So we literally spent our first year and a half that we lived in Springfield, Missouri, not knowing anyone, just loving each other. That's great. And our children and homeschooling. It was awesome. So what would that have looked like for me if I decided I can't grow here, I don't know anyone here?
What would it have looked like for
Yeah,
you?
I wouldn't have been in business.
No, it'd be like,
Yeah. So
why
the
do I even
size,
get up every morning?
yeah, the size of the community was determined by me. I
Ah.
came into a town where I didn't know anyone and I created my own community. Now, do some of those people have agents that they know? Hell yeah. But they used me because I created that community. So don't let that mindset of, I don't know people, or I don't have people to talk to, or there's people to talk to. And even if they know of an agent, until they have a signed agreement, they don't have an agent. So make sure that you are building your community. It's a great reminder that real estate is a relationship business. If you weren't at team meeting today, one of our agents who used to not be with KW and went to family reunion and now is with KW said that before that, she was in the business of selling real estate. And now she's in the business of building relationships. But she didn't see it that way before she was here. She just saw it as I'm just selling real estate and that's all I'm doing. But that's not all that we're doing. We are building a community. We are serving a community. And not everyone sees it that way. You know, not everyone is here to take care of our clients and take care of our community and do good service. But that's where we step in and that's where we make a difference. And that's where we stand out from others. So your job is to build a community.
So, that's why I'm here, really at Keller Williams. When I first got my license, I live in Bolivar, so I wanted to stay in Bolivar. I still do, but I can't because of this. my second day as a Realtor, the woman who's the broker walked in and handed me a check for $69,000 and said, "This is why you become a real estate agent." And my heart sunk. She's one of the meanest people I know. That's all she cares about. And I'm like, she actually humiliated me in front of some clients of mine, my first clients. So it was like not good. I come here and it's like everybody can succeed. Everybody is each other's cheerleader. No one is out there trying to take your business or be like ugly to you. And that right there is exactly my heart and why I wanted to do this. I was a teacher for 25 years. I retired. This is my encore career. This is my encore where I come out and take a bow and do the next thing. And I spent 25 years building relationships with students and parents. I'm good at it. I didn't know I was good at it until about 5 or 6 years ago. And I was like, oh, but this is it. This is why I'm at Keller Williams.
Yeah. And it's true.
And my daughter made me.
And yeah, so do think of it like that, you know, and think about it even when you're working with other agents too. You don't know how scary it is, or I mean, you might know how scary it is when you are on your first transaction and you're terrified of the other agent. Because they're gonna treat you like an idiot. I've been in business for 30 years. Okay, great. You didn't know everything about everything 30 years ago. So be kind to those agents. Give them grace. Give them, you know, tools to help them. Because at the end of the day, if you have a smooth transaction, then you're gonna have a happy client. It's not about you. We gotta take the emotion out of it, you know, and just do it about, when it comes to the transaction at least, do it about everything going smoothly and working with the other agent and building a community, because we are a community. As agents, we are a community, and we should also be not just building a community within our clients, but within our brokerage and within our industry as well. So servicing your leads is a big part of building your community. Turn to your page that says service all leads in your participant guide. Now, why do you think it's important to provide service to all leads?
You just shouldn't assume this person isn't really gonna want my help and this person is. You should never assume, and never assume what they want. Show them everything.
Yeah.
Not even yours, okay. I had a house, I just got a phone call and just found out one of my clients died, and it was in this transaction. I sold his house in Nixa to a couple that were, older couple, they were moving from Arizona. And the agent was somebody from Branson. I think they were staying in Branson and they liked the area, so they decided to hire somebody in Branson. So we sold the house. This couple didn't know anybody in Nixa, and I thought, So I kept checking on them. Hey, and they called me one time, they needed something, and I gave them the address, and I kept constant checking on them. They were not my clients. It was somebody else. Anyway, when 2 years ago, the market was crazy, so I sold the house to them for $185,000. So his name was E.L. E.L. Smith. So I called him, he, hey, how are you? They were used to me calling him all the time, not all the time, but once a quarter.
Yeah.
And he says, we're so bored. I'm like, what's going on? Well, I'm finished with the house. There's nothing else to do. And I said, really? Man, and they're like 89, 90 years old. So I said, well, have you heard about the market? This market is crazy. He said, I know. I said, just a minute. Quick CMA. I said, yeah. Did you know I can sell your house for $325,000? I'll see you in an hour. I'll be signing the papers with you. Within an hour, they went to here, Springfield, and I got up. It's an older people, or the people, old people live.
55 plus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Montessori, whatever, it's right here. And they sign in and they're renting there and they sold their house 300 and from 185 to,
Nice.
yeah, sold it for, again, for 325.
Nice.
Which is, she brings up a good point. A lead that you do not follow
Mhm.
up on becomes a lead for someone else
Mhm.
and their source of business and income.
Interesting.
You have
And
to
that was,
provide,
just checking on them because they didn't know
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah. just picking up that phone and checking in and keeping in touch brought Liliana that transaction. So provide value in general and through your real estate knowledge by volunteering information and following through on what you say you're going to do. It's important to service all leads you can, so you can know the source. So again, going back to yesterday, follow where your leads are coming from. Make sure that you're tracking where your leads are coming from. Knowing how the lead was generated will be important for calculating your return on investment for your prospecting and marketing methods.
That says track the relationship, but you're saying track where the lead comes from?
Know the lead source.
Know the lead
Yes.
source.
Oh, that's back up there, okay.
Yeah.
You haven't caught up with me yet, okay.
And then track the relationship.
What are
You
they
will-
talking about?
Yeah, you will use your database to track conversations. So
Okay,
this
okay.
is why it's important to service all your leads, so you can know your source. So you can track your conversations, track your relationships.
Okay, that's what they're referring to, okay.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was like, I really pissed them off today.
no. And then reward referrals. So you will follow up with and reward the client who referred the new lead.
Mhm.
Remember to reward the act of giving you the lead. Don't wait for closing. The reward will help encourage the behavior, allowing your database to feed itself.
How do
So
you do that?
you can send a thank you card. You can send a gift card. I don't know. I guess that's incentivizing, right?
Right, okay.
But you can send a thank you card. You can, if you're friends with them, you can obviously invite them out to dinner. Like, there's been times where I call my friends that are clients and I say, hey, let's go grab lunch. So make sure that you're servicing all of your leads. Command makes it easy to service all the people in your database with whatever the need is. You may follow up by adding more to the contact record, update your tasks, launch additional smart plans, manage your referrals, and design all sorts of marketing materials as well as your website. Feed your database. If you put everything on there, if you're doing your lead generation, if you know that you have to follow up with someone, like I called a client yesterday or today actually, and that she told me to call her in 2 weeks. And she's like, now I'm sick. Can you call me on Monday so that we can schedule a consult? So then I put on my command, follow up on Monday, and it's on there and I'm tracking my progress. It just makes it easy. So make sure that you are taking advantage of the technology. Is it a lot to take in? Yeah, it can be. And at the same time, we have the resources and the people that we can talk to so that they can teach us how to use them. Again, there is help for this on Connect as well. So when you go on your command and you click on Connect, check out the command your transactions for step-by-step simple instructions. Or again, you can go to answers.kw.com and search for the Ignite reference guide. Servicing all your leads means tracking them from introduction to closing and beyond. Beyond. So it doesn't stop at closing. What are some ahas or questions?
I didn't think about sending a note to a referral, like to one of my friends, but I just got a referral from her. And it's not gonna happen for a while, cause he's working on his credit. And she's like a doctor and she's a physician assistant.
Yeah.
And he's one of her patients, and like just for her to even think of me. That was cool. I'm
Yeah.
gonna send her a card tonight.
Yeah, one of the things that I was even thinking about was like, I didn't have my primary care physician on there, on my command. And I was like, why don't I have her on there? So yeah, keep in touch with them because they are, they are your people. And if you have conversations with them, like whenever I talk to which is not very often that I have to see my primary care physician, but the last time I had seen her, we were both pregnant at the same time. And this time I saw her, she was pregnant again. And so I was like, oh my God, you have another baby. Like, what are you even up to? And she's like, oh, you remembered that I was pregnant. I was like, yeah. And so we like had a conversation, but those are your people. So just remember to also take them into consideration. Just because you see them like once or twice a year doesn't mean that they can't be your people. Anything else anyone like to add?
Maybe we should ask the audience out there, put them on the spot.
Are you guys ready to turn your database into a data bank?
Community.
Do you feel confident about building, feeding, and communicating and servicing your database? Yeah? I heard a
Well, I think that it's a monster for me because there's just so many people in there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just setting the tasks, like that's a lot of work.
There's also the DTD2,
What?
the DTD2.
Okay.
I call it the R2D2 because it's easier.
What does that stand for? I'm just curious. I use it, but I was like, what is it?
I couldn't
Okay.
tell you off the top of my head.
It's
But it's a system for you to call people, so it has it based on like their name, yeah. So then you can filter that, and you can add the tag as the DTD2 too, like you can put a tag on them and put A and D or whatever the tag is for that day, and then that makes it more digestible too. Or you can go, 5 by 5 each day, or 10 people each day in alphabetical order. It's just gonna take longer to get through everyone, but there's different ways of doing it. It's just breaking down the task into smaller steps.
This week is H&D.
H&B, yeah. Is it on your book? Oh, it's on the bold book.
I wrote it in there.
Okay, yeah.
It's on my book because I put it there.
Now you have the tools and systems to create your business database, understand the value of your database, and will commit to maximizing how you use it, and can continue to build and feed your database and begin to communicate with the service that people and service the people in your database. An important step to take now that you have the understanding and the tools, if you haven't already, is to begin to build and feed your business database. Make sure you take action on this today and go to, again, theanswers.kw.com if you don't know how to sync all of your contacts and haven't done that already. Now, don't get discouraged if your database is not immediately yielding results. Remember that you don't quit too soon. Sometimes it can take 2 to 3 years to see significant return. Eventually, your database will start to reward you. And I can speak to that because I've been in business I'm going into 3 years, and I am now seeing repeat referral business. So yes, one of the biggest misconceptions is that, real estate, we want flexibility, we want freedom, we want this, we want that, but we're still building a business for ourselves. And things don't just fall out of the sky. So we have to stay consistent and remember that it's consistency over intensity. If you stay consistent, then you're gonna yield the results. If you just do 1 day of lead generation once every blue moon, you're not gonna see the results. But if you stay consistent with that lead generation, you're going to see the results. It can take over a year of contacting people using the 36 touch campaign to see consistent results. It is not immediate. And think in a mindset of long-term. The National Association of Realtors tells us that currently people are moving about every 7 to 10 years. Come from Care, the real estate business is also the relationship business, and people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and it can take time to establish all three, especially with a new lead. So make sure that you're implementing these systems. Follow the 4 laws, don't quit too soon, use the 36 touch campaign, and think long-term. You got in this business because you wanted to build something, and it's gonna take some time. Now, as we wrap up our learning session and transition to our success system, let's do a QA review. Ahas, how's your mindset now? Lovely. Are we doing all the calls?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hungry, man. I need to know my day. So every 7 to 10 years,
Every 7 to 10.
what I did 3 years ago, maybe it was 4, doesn't matter, is I went into the MLS and I went back
Mhm.
10 years and did a sold, people that sold or did a transaction in those 10 years. And I started calling them. And no kidding, because I was with a coach and I said, let's try this. And it was just one of those cool incidents. But anyway, the first guy I called, he says, oh yeah, we're just getting ready to move into our new house. I'm like, wow, I called too late, but the point of it is, it was kind of a cool thing. Because if you go back to the people that did business 7 to 10 years ago, it might be, transaction 30 days. I mean, you just don't know. Anyway.
And first-time homebuyers move every 3 to 5 years.
No.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents for right now. Sure, I'll get 2 more here in a minute.
Put it in the piggy bank. Yeah, so stay in touch, guys. It's really, we like to overthink it and like get super complicated and do all these things when really it's just building relationships and calling people. And it can be hard, sure, like, you can feel a little bit like, oh, I don't wanna call, because in your head, you're talking with the intention of real estate. But if you take that out and you're just like, I just wanna talk to this person. I just wanna see what they're up to, be nosy. What you been up to, huh?
Mhm.
Just call them and say what's up and see what they're doing. More likely than not, they're gonna wanna yap about their life. I know if someone calls me, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell you, like, this is what I've been up to. So take it the same way. And like we were saying yesterday, just put yourself in the mindset that they're happy to hear from you. They want to be friends with you. They want to work with you. They want to be in relationship with you. If they've already given you their name and phone number or their name and email, if you have their address before you even have their name and phone number, then get on that, because there's a reason why they felt comfortable enough to give you that piece of information. Who else would like to share? Richard, you've been quiet.
No, I'm hearing all this really causes me to be a lot more motivated to
Good,
build, because I'm just starting out, so.
I'm glad, yeah. I love it. I love when people tell me that they feel motivated. I'm like, okay, it worked.
So you guys wanna see if it works?
See if what works.
The script. So, hey Maria, you're doing a great job. And I really love to send out birthday cards, hard copy birthday cards to people. It's kind of fun to get them in the mail. But I don't have your address. Could you give me your address?
Yeah, sure, that's actually really nice. I don't get birthday cards anymore in the mail. Yeah, I'll give it to me. My address is 661.
Oh, no. Anyway, get out here. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you think you guys have grown in these areas? What tools are you guys going to use?
Well, I've got to find a good CRM to start with.
Gosh.
No, I
Imagine
mean,
that.
all of it. I mean, what I liked about, we were talking, David, right?
Mhm, yeah.
I want to say Dave, but then.
That's fine.
David and I were talking about reaching out to businesses, business to business. So I like that, but I'm gonna use the database
Yeah.
for tagging and for just what it's supposed to be used for, tracking. Yeah, so.
Mary said, I feel so encouraged that I get to repair and nurture the relationships I've neglected by running on autopilot or burnout for so many years while building my business to provide the life my family and I deserve. Oh, that's powerful. Yeah. To repair and nurture. I like that she said repair because there's so many relationships that just kind of fickle out or fall through. And it's not because you didn't have a relationship, it's because you fell out
Yeah.
of relationship. And it's very easy to just let it be and be like, oh, you know, I haven't talked to him forever. It's gonna be weird if I reach out now. But when you think of it, it's about repairing that relationship and saying like, hey, I haven't talked to you in so long and I'm sorry. And I think that we do live in a society that is so go, go, go that we forget to slow down and ask questions and listen to what people are going through and seeing and feeling.
Yeah,
Sprinkles and butter.
we actually act like we care.
I think the whole concept of seeing your database as a community,
Mhm. Yeah,
and it's a community of people and they're all different and trying to
yeah.
just, you're.
That's actually an answer to one of my dreams because I wanted to own a city. But the database, you know, it's my community, so it's kind of my city. Beautiful.
You're the mayor.
You're the
I'll
mayor
be
of your own
something.
city. Yeah.
You're the street cleaner.
Yeah, but it is a community though. It's people that trust you and work with you, and it's people that you probably want to work with and trust. So yeah, just see it as your community that you're building. Awesome. Now we're gonna spend some time working in our business, in our success system. So we're gonna spend 20 minutes of role play, conversation with a partner. So make sure that you find a partner to do that. Then we're gonna spend 10 minutes preparing a call list for today. So it can be some of the people that you wrote down in your exercise today, or people that you already have prepared. And then we're gonna spend 45 minutes in real play, which is you calling and picking up the phone.
Oh.
And then 30 minutes updating your database with information gathered in command.
Beautiful. Let's get started. Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to role play or?
Sure, come here. Come on, baby.
So let's do that one.
20 minutes,
We were
I'll
working
set a
on-
timer.
20 minutes for role play? Is what you said?
Yeah.
So, you
So
know,
I thought this was 12 to 3. Am I wrong? Is it like every day? How long?
Yeah, so you are more than welcome to stay if you'd like to do the role play and preparation and all of that. We encourage it just because it's part of it. If you need to go, then that's totally fine. You can also.
Okay, well, I just have somebody showing up at my house. So.
sounds important.
Is it 12 to 3 or is it longer?
It's 12 to 4.
12 to 4.
The first day was 12 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I got confused and thought that meant it was 12 to 3 every day, but
Yeah.
no, it's 12 to 4.
Okay.
So I heard you're looking for a house.
No, you must have heard wrong.
It's so difficult.
You called me the other day asking for. a
Oh, you wanna go there?
house.
Yeah, I want to see that one house. Can we see it like right now? Cause we're on
Sure.
the phone, we're on the phone, right?
He has
Oh,
to
in
be
the phone, yeah.
pre-approved.
We're on the phone.
Yeah, how are you planning to pay for
Really,
this
are you
house?
pre-approved?
There you go.
Because
That's, yeah.
honestly.
No.
I just asked him, how is he planning to pay for the house?
Well, I worry about that later. So like, I want to see the house. Hear about the house right now. Can I see it?
Here it is.
Well, it was gonna take me a while. It'll be about 2 o'clock. I can do it right now. Would that give you enough chance to get pre-qualified or do you need help with that?
Oh my golly, I don't know, 2 o'clock, you say 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
Yeah, probably have to do it later, but I was hoping to see it now, because I need to buy something. So,
2 o'clock, I can meet you there.
what's tomorrow look like?
10 o'clock, I'll be okay. I can show it to you.
Even without me being pre-qualified, you don't wanna come to the office and check out my license and make sure I'm not some kind
No,
of crazy man?
I plan to, no, because I wanna
And I was feeling.
get to know you and get a relationship, and I'm gonna bring somebody with me. And then when I'm in the house, I know you're serious or not.
Gotcha, okay,
Mhm.
fair enough.
You know what I did yesterday?
All right, so we're,
There's a new thing on Facebook.
Okay.
where you
you're a
can
waitress.
Instead
I'm a
of
waitress.
starting
You're a waitress at a restaurant.
Okay,
You can make your personal profile.
And we know your name because you,
I have a name tag.
yeah,
Which
because you
means
told us.
that.
So anyway, Liliana, man, is it Anna or Anna? Anna,
Liliana.
Liliana.
Uh-huh.
I always want to say Anna, but
But your
anyway.
friends.
It's okay.
Liliana, you've done a great job.
Well, thank
I really
you.
appreciate your service.
You decide, oh, I want this
Hey, you
one.
know, I am,
You can, each post you can decide. The ones on
I'm
the
an
background.
owner of a real estate
are all
team,
friends on
Mhm.
our real estate office, and I think you do really well at it. Have you ever thought about getting into it? Yeah, I do. I think you do well at it. Are you happy with what you're doing?
And then choose to make some
No,
public.
Not really.
no, but I always wanted to make more money and work less.
Yeah, so what
How
what are you
much you
working
think
for?
I'm good?
Well, you have good communication skills, what I really liked that a lot of people don't do, a lot of service doesn't do. You didn't interrupt our conversation when you were filling up glasses or refilling coffee or drinks.
Oh,
You simply took care of it, you almost like read, the process, you seem to know what you're doing well.
So I did.
ah,
So what are you working for? I mean, that's kind of a silly question, but you got some goals?
No,
or
I
what?
never thought about it. I'm just a waitress. I don't know if I can do anything else.
You have children at home or?
Yes.
Okay, so you're working to take care of those guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive. How old are they?
If
3 and 7.
From your friends and family.
Okay,
All right.
Uh-huh.
but you never really ever considered real estate?
I just never thought about it. I never even think about it. You know, those people
Yeah,
are,
you'd have to
they
ask
look-
all of your friends to.
I don't know, I never thought
Yes.
about
Never
it.
thought about it. huh?
Mhm.
Well, I think you do really well at it. Could we get together maybe, I don't know, there's a coffee shop across the street, maybe sometime this week get together and I can tell you a little bit more about real estate.
Oh, that
And
sounds
see if
great.
it's a fit. You know, you might not like it at all, but then again, it's never
Is
hurts
it
to
pretty
take a look.
expensive to go to school and all that?
Well, it does cost a little money, yes, but as far as expensive to get into a business that will make you,
Had all
if you do it
kinds
well,
of response to it.
make a nice income,
now-
6-figure income.
6
Yes.
figures?
Yeah, if you do it right, I mean, you have to have training and the company that I have provides great training. But anyway, so, yeah, it's Bebop's Coffee Shop.
I'll see you at Bebop's tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Sure.
Family here.
That'd be right after somebody's gonna show me a house at 2. It's gonna be great.
That's how you're gonna get all the people that you want in your team.
My new
I
headshot.
don't know, it just came out. I
And
thought we
got a
played.
bunch of.
Let's see what else.
I
can we
wanna
do.
play.
Go ahead.
And then
No,
Yeah,
you
you
guys
always
have
I
to
become
did
start.
a-
mine.
I'm gonna
I just
say.
joined.
Oh.
Keller Williams.
Sherry,
Hi.
Hi.
Post.
so we're on the phone.
Tons of companies.
Well, what?
and,
We're on the
like,
phone.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of my.
Because this is, I need to perfect this one. But anyway, so hi, is this Mrs. Sherry? Because I don't know your last
My
name.
name's Sherry Beersman.
Yeah,
I'm with Keller Williams. How are you?
I'm doing, oh, you're with Keller Williams?
Yeah.
Wow, Sherry. So, yeah, I'm over here at Stockton,
I was excited about it.
Realty
And
Stockton.
so I feel like that was so
And
much
things
touches
are
right
kind of
there.
slow and just right now, just because of the
And then I-
weather.
Did you
and
respond?
gas.
I totally did.
So I was just calling around the
Commented,
community,
"Hey,
looking for
thank
people
you,"
that were
or
willing
whatever.
to maybe buy or sell homes this
So-
year. But you're in with Keller Williams, wow.
I am. Yeah,
So
I
am
really
I.
love it here too.
Promise people,
So am
yeah.
I, I'm with Keller Williams too, I'm with Tri-Lake Realty Power by Keller Williams, so.
Very
Several.
good.
Very
Oh,
so-
good. So we
Exactly.
now
So that was pretty cool.
have made this
Which means that
connection.
now that I'm on
Maybe
this
if I have any,
And I responded
funny
back.
looking for a house
You're
in
gonna
Stockton,
see
I
yeah.
could give you a call and you might be able to help them.
And that's what
Absolutely.
this,
Absolutely, that's
You know,
great.
This is
I really
about
mainly work in
nurture.
Polk County and
This is
Bolivar,
about the
so
touches.
if you know anybody, we could kind of help each other out that way.
so that's.
Yeah, it
a
is, it's
whole-
great because
That's a whole
what I find
Bunch of them right there.
difficult
Yeah.
about
So
what
to
we
me, it makes
do
sense.
is
But
trying to
I
go
also
into an
know these
unfamiliar area and act
Did a lot
like
with my
I know
business.
the area.
used
I
to
think it's
do that.
much better service to our clients.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing.
Yeah, I really do.
So can I put you into my
But I think I hated it
database, into my
first one,
referral database?
and
Oh,
now
yes,
that I
please.
have,
I
like,
think that's a great way for us to
all
keep track
these
of
people are
things,
Yeah, I'll do the
so
same.
command,
Yeah,
so.
didn't I see you?
And I'm
at,
doing it for my
I think I saw you at a
business.
barbecue restaurant.
It's not so bad.
Facebook's.
Over at
Maybe.
Bolivar, was it at Boone's or something?
Always, we're big Boone's people.
Yeah.
Groups.
All right, cool.
Are you really in Stockton?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am.
What's your name?
morning. and evening,
Brad
I'll be on
Middlemas,
for
Middlemas.
half an hour.
Same,
And
same.
spend it.
And we were at,
Respond to
we were with Tim
people,
Hall over at Boone's.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Rather than getting on there
teamwork took
anytime I have a
you.
spare moment.
I love Tim,
Yeah.
I'm a Tim fan.
Yeah, he's our coach.
He is a cheat.
Oh, is he your coach now?
I wish I could afford him.
He's cheaper than, isn't he?
That's good.
I don't know, you know, it's really not about
Now he's
price.
$500, but I think when he was starting, he left here, he was cheaper.
It's not really about price, it's about what you get out of it.
That's true.
He's, there's several different packages he
Well, I
has.
was helping
And I
out.
think
Oh, you helped
basic
I was
is
shadowing it.
500, and then you can just set up a few individual sessions, you know, that are maybe,
And,
whatever, I don't know. I'm not as,
the cheapest was like.
I'm not his manager, so I don't sell his product, other than I can give him a good referral,
Nice.
but I don't know his price.
I tell you, you can, I done coaching with Maps Coach. It's a great deal because first you can get for free family reunion.
I brought my daughter
Or the other
came
one.
over and she's like.
And,
She loves the.
it's just really
She
helpful.
might, she might.
having somebody-
26.
Oh,
that's
So she
great.
might sign
One
up.
coach
She
here.
was really
That's so
excited.
great.
So we went.
But we always got together in family reunion and they give you, because they have so many clients and they get ideas from the other clients and they tell you
Yes.
really what to do.
Which was really
Great,
good.
so let's get back to role play, if you don't mind.
So, wait,
Especially for
first,
something like
why are
Yes.
you?
Because I'm very used to that.
Well, I'm
Yes.
here.
Very used to
Mhm.
speaking. the
No, I
truth.
just,
Yes.
Church for-
I just,
Yes,
I've
exactly.
taken advantage of
Exactly.
all the
And
training,
being
plus
one-
I have
Hey,
a
authority, but the one who's
potential team member
who's
here.
there. who's
Yeah.
Getting her
hosting
license,
this.
but I
Okay. Yeah, I
also
like that.
suggested
So-
she go ahead and do
I
this.
realized this is gonna be.
But I just wanted to take advantage of all the training, just kind of refresh myself. Because it's been, I've been around since 2003,
I walked
and then I was with Keller Williams in Kansas City, and then came here to this area. of Springfield. I'm actually thinking up in Palm Terre, but it came to this area and was not with Keller
I
Williams.
know a lot of
Well, you
business
think
up
of the
at
house and you
Frontier.
compare
I'm
from-
like,
Didn't
for
even
me, a
introduce
lot,
themselves.
because I'm not
Didn't say who they
like
were.
the
Right?
full-time,
Oh, that's bad.
I was
I
surprised.
don't
too
know,
that-
but I've gotten a lot of referrals
I'm in
lately,
half a
for
million
sure, it's been weird.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I lived there, but I know I listed a house.
You look like you just
And
kind of walked off the street.
You
Oh,
responded, I
wow.
think you were
You know what I
doing,
mean?
Yeah.
Like untouched
some
shirt.
comparables, and
Yeah.
you felt like
Oh,
the price,
yeah.
the price of the house was maybe not where it should be.
That's, I know.
Well, I don't know.
That's okay.
I'm constantly looking at houses, so anything that like touches Polk County, I'm interested
Yeah.
in. But I'm most interested in Polk County. So just because I'm not driving down here, but I will drive down here. I'm going as much as I
Like here?
can.
Anyway.
Yeah.
From there?
I learned a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
well, I
then
just don't.
she-
I get, here's why. I drove an hour each day, every
no,
day,
Just the
my
fact that
entire
it was-
teaching
Yeah.
career.
Oh, okay.
That's 10 hours a week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Of
It's
course, I
like,
do get work done in my car. I make phone calls in my car
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I talk to people and
So that was a
that
big
kind of
eye.
stuff. So it's
Yeah.
So I'm
really super fun,
definitely-
but you know, I'm on my daughter's team, so
Well,
I'm
so,
not,
and then I
you know,
shadowed,
she's
Yeah.
Hope. Hope
big
Shields.
deal.
Okay.
I'm not the big deal.
Who's your daughter?
And
Danielle
she's
Beersman.
interesting because she
Danielle, I know Danielle.
told me
She's
that.
Everybody knows Danielle.
Mhm, she's
Yeah,
big.
right.
She's what?
She's a big.
She's got-
what's her little dog?
Yeah, I remember, yeah, yeah.
Gus
Um,
Gus. That's my
People really
granddog.
respond to her.
He's cool
She's
dog. He
really
likes
Well,
it.
that's Gus. George is even cooler.
She's also super.
She just doesn't bring George around. And I have Dolly and Zinni.
Mhm.
So
Did
like,
she offer to give
so
anybody
we
a
have four
tour?
Yorkies when we put them all
Well, so
together.
she said
So
she does.
boy.
And Dolly looks exactly like a miniature version
tells them-
of Gus.
Mhm.
Dolly
And
only
here's the
weighs
house,
4
so
pounds.
this would
Gus
have
is
the
about
bedrooms
9.
here and the master
Yeah,
back
yeah.
there.
So, and Dolly's full grown, but Zinni,
Upstairs,
my Zinni
She kind
only
of
weighs
greeted
2
them at the
pounds.
door,
so-
showed them, just kind of
She
pointed out
out.
little bitty.
I was like, where would you like to start?
Wow,
And she
that's
said she-
little.
How's the
They want me to hang
Keller
out with
Williams
them,
from
or
Kansas
they wanna
City?
go look
Yeah.
at their
How
house.
was that?
Most of them tend to wanna go look.
It's
at
great.
their house.
I mean, Keller Williams,
So she and I.
It's
came
kinda
up
the-
with a Great
Yeah.
room, and then as they.
it's kind of the same nationwide. I mean, they have the same principles and everything.
Mhm.
As far as how was it?
Well, I don't know, in the
For me, it
Branson,
was how easy it is to
it's
get
not-
apartments.
So
Well,
did she
they-
get a
the-
budget?
She got, well, only 5.
Yeah, they fit the model.
Yeah,
Good.
Kansas City fit the
Good.
model. They were good. I mean.
Um,
Look at this little thing.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Zinni's only 2 pounds.
but
She's
she
6
did
years
get,
old.
out of 5
And
dollars, she got
then
one email
Dolly
and phone
is
number
just a year and a
that
half
she's gonna send
now.
more information to.
See the
And-
pups.
Oh my
possibly show them over
gosh.
to get a
They're so
sign
much
away,
fun.
you know?
They're such
Did
little
anybody
Oh,
rats.
I-
their agents or
They
did
terrorize
someone-
my house.
No, and so she was just asking, are you already looking?
They're
at-
hilarious.
So dogs are fun, huh?
All of
I
us have
don't
them.
have it.
Really?
I'm a
Yeah.
dog person. I don't do cats at all.
No, not all of them
Yeah.
are seriously.
This
looking.
is them when they needed a haircut, but
Um,
I mean, still,
Mhm.
little fluff balls.
That was kind of
And they're
long.
hot leads.
Yeah.
You know.
They are funny, but yeah.
Bothered to go
Yeah,
by
so
and
let's do the role play.
more than
All right, so
somewhere
what's your
on there.
biggest, your toughest role play? Or your
So
toughest?
there was one in the internal group,
Let's get an email.
Okay, I'll tell you what my toughest
All right.
is.
but somebody had already grabbed
I
it,
need help
but.
with with people say,
said-
I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna.
Feel
I-
free
I am
to go
not
on your
ready, or
own.
I'm gonna wait,
See.
or like turning it
You guys open houses?
back, like I
Find
need
a Keller
some
Williams one,
good
call them up and say-
scripting
Actually,
ideas,
no,
and
no,
answers that I
just
can
listen.
give for
Call them up and
that
say,
kind of
"Hey,
thing,
I'd
because I
love to
know
work
it's
with
gonna
you."
cost them more money if they
And
wait.
they'd be like, great.
Oh, that happened to me when, 2 years ago, the interest rates were 3s.
Oh, good.
And people said, oh, I wanna wait until the market
Out
crashes.
there on the.
Yeah,
Facebook
like they,
page.
And you're like,
that's not coming back,
what-
like everybody said last year we were going into a recession, we never made a recession. We were close, but we didn't do it.
Mhm.
And so now this year, they're like, well, interest rates, I'm waiting for those to come back. I'm like, guys,
Well, I guess we need to go back to their motivation.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's try. it. So hey, Sherry, you were talking about selling your house, right?
Well,
Right?
no, I'm a
For
first
sure.
time home buyer.
You're a
for
buyer,
sure.
okay,
I wanna
okay,
buy.
okay, that's what we're talking
But
about.
I'm afraid because like the interest rates seem really high.
So, I guess really,
There you go.
not to really
The MLS.
argue with
and
you
try
about
to-
that. I mean, if you wanna wait, that makes sense.
And then
But,
what she
if
does
you,
too,
face
is she'll
case,
take some of the
um,
pictures and.
if you were to take this bell curve,
Post it on social media, hey, I'm gonna
Got
be here.
school
da-da-da-da.
yeah. So tell me,
She says,
obviously, you
printing out.
can't say at the end of the table, but tell me when you think this is gonna
Make sure you're
start
printing out
to
the
fall.
consumer.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
everybody seems to be talking about it, that it's just gonna come back to what it used to be. Like a couple years ago during COVID, like we're gonna get interest rates that low.
Now, we talked
I
about it
think
before.
2 or 3%.
Okay, think so.
I have
Yeah,
it. so I
That'd
can
be
answer
cool.
questions.
Now, what was
But then
the motive? Why are you wanting to buy your first home? What's going on?
Because I'm tired of being in the rent rat race.
Okay.
Or you could just pick.
I
up-
am, I'm sick of
Yeah,
paying
but
somebody
in the meantime,
else's
you're
bills
losing a
for
chance
them
to
and
have
not investing in my own life. I
It's
mean, our
interesting,
family needs to have their own house.
Overall.
Well, this kind of popped into my mind. So what are you paying for rent right now?
$1,500 a month.
Are you comfortable with that payment?
No, I hate it. I
What
mean,
would you like your payment to
well,
be?
I don't mind paying that much. It's just that I'm paying somebody else that money.
Mhm.
And I'm paying his house payment instead of like working on paying my own. I don't know
Exactly,
if I
that's
can
not
get it
coming
because
from
of my
contributions,
credit.
that's
It's
coming
good,
from
it's not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get it because of my
I know
credit.
that I was.
We can check on all that, but what do you think about this
I was an
idea?
agent, but
Let's say that you,
listening in on the other
went ahead
conversations, it was similar.
and we
Was-
started looking for homes, you got a
Give me your information.
home that you loved or liked really well, and your payment was $1,500 a month. The interest rate, is whatever the interest rate is right now. But then later, when the market finally crashes like you are expecting it to, or when the interest rates fall, you could possibly refinance as long as you just didn't do that in like 6 months. What do you think of that idea? Go ahead and, start
Yeah.
putting equity into your home
Right, yeah, yeah.
and
Were they crowded?
Maybe
Like, were there more than
refinance it.
one?
What if it
people in the
wasn't,
house?
and I'm stuck with that
Yeah,
interest
what-
rate?
Well, what's the likelihood of our taxes dropping? Most of the time, interest rates kind of go back up anyway, right? I mean, would you be unhappy with the payment you could afford? And be in
No, I
equity
mean,
with
that
your
would
own?
be good, but I just think, well, if they don't go down, then what? Then I'm stuck at 6%
At the same
Right.
or 7% maybe.
So is
Because
it
my
just about,
credit-
is it just about the
I think
interest?
so, for
I-
sure,
Well,
starting
for
out.
me, I don't know if I wanna like take some more time to clean up my credit.
It's
Okay,
obviously your
that's fair enough.
sphere of influence.
While you're cleaning up your credit, you're still paying somebody else's house payment.
How do you?
It's a
And,
lot of money.
you know, and if we could get you qualified to buy something you liked and your payment was somewhere around $1,500 a
You
month.
start up like we-
Nothing's really changed except that you're building equity in your own property.
Ready to just jump
Well,
right
you
in
have a
yet.
point.
Yeah, but,
She's
you
told me-
know, I'm not
But who
here,
would I even talk to? Like, I don't even know
Yeah.
And
anyone.
then there's another
Like,
gal
about
who said you
my
can hold one together.
Loan, like, do I go to my bank?
well, you go to your bank for one, but I've got several contacts that I can connect you with.
How long do you
Not
tread
all
water before
lenders
you
are the
actually
same,
take
like
the
not
dog?
all
Yeah,
real estate
so I
people
think
are
I'm
the
just
same.
so used to that. I mean,
So
that's
I
just
could
what- that's
connect you
what
with
I've done.
a couple of
Do I
my
have to
favorites.
pay you
For what?
for helping me get a house? Cause I don't know how much you charge.
Just stop.
I guess it's because it's a new knowledge area. Do you
Right
have business
now,
cards yet?
The way it's set up is
Right.
when a seller
Okay.
lists their home,
Honestly.
they usually.
Well, that's the
take
other
care
thing
of
is I wanna
conditions
have those
of
in
the,
place.
Yeah, I know, but I,
The
you
buyer's
know, I
agent.
just can't wait for.
I
everyone to-
do have a 495 admin fee that
Print
you
that out
would
and
pay
say,
to me,
you know.
or not to me, but to my organization.
When do I have to pay that?
That's a
I think
closing.
Maybe print out
Oh.
the card
Yeah.
stock.
So I would have time.
Yeah, you'd have time, and here's the nice thing about it is,
Waiting one more
you
week.
know, when we get to the point
What's
of
that
closing,
freaking admin
Waiting
fee
one more
for?
week just to get the
Um,
card thing.
gasoline,
I just.
to take care of my
That's gonna be
transaction
much stronger,
coordinator,
that's what I'm just
to
trying
make sure the
Okay,
process
I like
goes
it.
through well.
Tell me how it goes.
Yeah.
I have
All of that.
assistants that, work with me in case I'm not available, but you gotta
Do
see.
you
how it's
really
right now.
charge that?
Mhm.
$4.95 and before.
I
They
pay, I
complain to me,
charge
I only
just what
charge
Onward charges,
$2.50.
but I just,
I
okay,
do
we're back
three-
in it
I
now.
do
Yeah.
350.
So anyway,
Listing and
But
250 for
once it's
buyer.
in, it's in.
So anyway, yeah, so you know, that's just an idea. Why don't you kind of let that, but I help you through the whole process as far as in the deed, making sure you're qualified, making sure you get the best interest rate you can, even though it's kind of
What
high.
about like the house? What if it's like really
Well, then I'm
expensive?
thinking-
Like, can we get it for less or do we have to pay what they ask
We're
for?
not in my.
Everything's negotiable. I mean, you know, to think of it as you know, if you find a house, we'll just say 200,000.
Yeah, and then try to get.
And you come in and try to get it for 140,000, and that's probably not gonna happen. But
No.
the process, I'll sit down with you, we'll go through the process of buying a home. Part of the buying the
Facebook
home is
message.
you find the house you like,
And
and you agree on a price, and then we do inspections. After the inspections are done, we can almost negotiate again as far as price or fix a
Oh,
problem.
we can.
Yeah, I mean, you could, yes.
Well,
Um,
what do we
I do.
do if like someone breaks
I think
down
they-
right after I buy the house? Like, am I gonna be, like, what, I mean, I'm gonna be saving or spending all my money on a down payment, so I'm not really gonna have that much to fix something.
Interesting.
So.
Well,
That's
wow. That's, we might wanna look at okay, I have, you know. I
These
have
are
a
just
couple-
things that get
Yeah.
told to me.
This is a couple of solutions to begin with. You know, just because I care, we might wanna sit down and really consider
It's just a cold, but it's enough.
your
Combine
financial
it.
situation. You don't have to get personal with me, but you know, I mean, if you're spending everything you got to get into a house and you
And I
don't
had
have
just
any
gotten to bed at
savings.
like 11:30.
We might want to
And
review
not
that
sleep
before you
right.
even purchase. But
You're right.
Gets to where it needs to go.
another solution is there are programs called home warranties.
Jumps in.
And what to do is we ask the seller to provide a home warranty, covers your major appliances and.
All right,
and,
friends,
It's
that's
never a
time.
It's never a direct flight to where it needs to
We're
go.
gonna
These are
take
just
10
things.
minutes to prepare your conversation list. So these are the people that you will be calling.
Can I check in with you again in a couple months? You know, that's how I am.
Yeah, try to find a
But
few
my daughter
solutions.
says, you need to
10
know how to
minutes.
turn something.
10 minutes.
You know what,
Can I get
I
10 minutes to
a
prepare
good
your
comeback.
conversation list?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that we're gonna have an inspection, make sure that everything is gonna be working anyhow. Also, you can say that's just part of being a homeowner, things are gonna break eventually. But at the beginning, we make sure with the inspection that it's gonna be taken care of. Another thing about the interest rate, that you said that you wanted to wait.
Yeah.
What happens if you'll go down later on? And you're going to fix your credit? I said, that's great, we can purchase the house, you work on fixing your credit, when refinance, and hopefully the interest rates are down there because you fix your credit, your interest rate is gonna be better.
True.
So it's all about educating.
I mean, those are the things that I say, but it just doesn't seem to work.
Really?
Just like, yeah. Well, and I just put them on my long-term renter and
Right.
check in.
Well, I mean, it's just that sometimes you gotta do it.
That's the game.
Danielle, I mean, if she can turn every one of them around, good for her, but
She's pretty good at it.
yeah.
I don't know what she does. She says it's all Shanna. She uses all Shanna's words. I don't know. I did finally learn how to defend my 3%.
Good.
So I don't have to worry about that anymore.
So are you guys seeing,
One of my
are you
buyers said,
seeing people argue your 3%? Is that what you guys are talking about?
She's saying that,
What?
People arguing your 3%?
No, when people do though, and they have in
As
the
a buyer?
past. Yes, I had a buyer, my buyer that's in Arizona, we were at lunch that he bought me. He's like, well, you could cut your commission fee. And I'm like, for what? You're not paying me anything. The seller is. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. Like he should have known that because they're both retired Air Force, but he didn't know. And I'm like, you're not paying me anything. Why do you care? But if somebody does, most of the time what I say is, well, okay, so here's where I'm at. I'm kind of stuck here because I have to pay taxes. I don't get to keep what you think I get to keep. I have to pay taxes. So 1% of that, 3% goes to taxes. I have to pay my brokerage and my team. And so another percent goes to that. So I get 1% to keep. So if I cut it, it can't, that's a non-negotiable on taxes, non-negotiable on my brokerage. And if you ask me to cut that 1%,
How do I feed my family?
it's money out of my family's mouth. So honestly, I think that I would pay for myself because I will get you more money than you would get if you didn't use my services.
How would you feel if your boss said, hey, you know what? I want you to do the same job, but I'm gonna cut your pay
Right.
by $3 an hour.
And we have realtors in Bolivar who are like, this is what I fight. I go to the same church with some, and they are the best people you ever want to meet in your life. I love them. I use them for my house. They are awesome, but you can't they are doing like some stuff with a builder now where the buyer's agent only gets 2%.
We can't do that. We gotta compete with value because, I mean, hell's bells. I don't know what that thing costs, but
And if you're willing to do that with another
With
agent
your
is
money.
willing to do that with your money.
What are they willing
What
to
are
do
they
with
willing to do with
their
theirs?
clients' money?
Mhm.
Yeah, I say that too sometimes, but these two people are the salt of the earth. I was gonna move up and work with them, but they didn't need anybody yet, so
that's not cool.
I love them, but
I mean,
I would have to give up command and I've invested too much time in it and I would be like devastated to lose what I have put in, so.
cause you've been in it a while,
Well, 2 years,
so.
but I taught my first year in it.
Mhm.
So this is my first full year since May to coming May where I'm in it like full-time,
do all the brokerage do this?
what?
Ignite?
Uh,
I mean, like Ignite, classes like
No.
this and.
No, I mean, KW definitely offers just a plethora of training.
My first brokerage, it was like, yeah, you can do this, just don't do that. Make sure you put our logo on this and this and this. That was my training.
No way, really?
And I think that it comes down to like training in all aspects, because like I had a real estate agent from another brokerage the other day call me because I was showing a house to one of their clients who said they didn't have an agent. And I was working with them to get them pre-qualified and signing the documents and stuff, and she had called me And she said, oh, I have signed documents with them, they've done this a couple times. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, like, you have a signed agreement, I'll back off, like, if they have a signed agreement, I'm not gonna work that person.
Right.
You
Right.
shouldn't, you
Sure, you
shouldn't.
can't, I mean, you can't.
You legally can't, but people do.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, no, you're totally fine. I'll stop contacting them. I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with that. That's frustrating. She's like, oh, well, you can have them if you want, like, if you want them. And I was like, you have a signed agreement, right? That's what you're saying? And she's like, well, yeah, but you know, you showed them a property and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but you have a signed agreement, correct? Like this is a legal binding document where you have a relationship with them, correct? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, then why are you giving me your client? You know, so it comes down to training.
You saying she didn't know that was the thing?
No, I don't think it was that. I just think that there's this misconception with the buyer agency agreement that's very loosey-loose, and that, you know, there's agents that do try to promote themselves to people that already have an agent. So a lot of people don't respect the buyer agency agreement, even though we're supposed to. So I don't know if she was coming from a place of like, oh, it's fine, whatever, like you can keep calling them. Cause she asked me like, oh, so are you gonna give them a call back? And I was like, no.
Maybe she's just trying to jack you up.
But if you have a signed agreement and they buy with someone else, isn't that a legally binding thing that you could sue to?
Yeah, you can, but I mean, Jesus.
When do you ask for your buyer's agreement?
What was that?
When do you ask for your buyer's agreement?
I mean, it's gonna be depending on the situation, but I normally try to do it as soon as possible.
I do too.
Don't write an offer without a buyer's agreement.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Well,
I send the buyer's
sometimes-
agreements and then
I
send the
got
offer.
burned pretty good because I spent a weekend showing people houses that I would not normally drive to, but I felt committed to them, and they were looking at, you know, $500,000 places. So we went like in Aurora, that's not my area, but we went there. We went, you know, out Fordland and stuff like that. And then like, they're like, well, we're gonna look in Oklahoma. I said, okay, well, let me refer somebody. Well, we've already found somebody there. And then they just quit, like, when I would ask them how it was going, they sent me like a picture of a house that they had bought. They didn't really buy it. I actually ended up getting a hold of the agent, and they're like, no, that wasn't them. I've never heard of them. So I don't even know where they are. And I'm like, not doing that again.
Yeah.
Before I take you to show you the houses, you're gonna have to hire me.
And I
That
think
doesn't
that,
mean that you're gonna contract with them. You're gonna show them
No.
houses. If they can find houses, then
what I always tell people, it's that it's a way to protect myself, and also to avoid any liability.
Yes.
So I try, obviously there's times where they're like, oh, I wanna see this property, can you show it to me? Sure. Now I bring my employment agreements to the showing. I make conversation with them. Now, if they're kinda in a rush or whatever it might be, or whatever the case is, then I just set an appointment with them right there and tell them, let's meet at my office on this date and go over your buyer needs, your strategy session, and your buyer needs, and all of that. But yeah, I asked for it pretty immediate, like after getting a lead or having someone that's interested in buying.
Sure. I do too. So I just wondered if I was being ridiculous.
No. Okay, so you have your,
he not want to sign one.
what was that?
He wanted me to write offers and he did not want it from Florida.
I'm
I
like,
say,
man,
buddy, you
if
know, I don't know
want
what the
out,
law
I'll
in
let
Florida,
you
but right
out.
here, I don't get paid if I don't have your signature in that paper. So you want me to show you more houses?
You're gonna have to sign.
And I did.
Yeah, I would just, yeah, I wouldn't do it. I only work with two people I like and people that trust me. If
Good
they
for
don't
you.
trust me and I don't like them, I don't want to work with them.
All right. Lead generation conversations, real play. So if you guys would like to stay here for the next 45 minutes and call some of the people that you made a list of, this would be your time. And it's great because you have accountability. So 45 minutes to call.
Like, actually call.
Uh-huh.
Real
play. Real play.
Real pay.
Real
I'm
play.
gonna go real play with, face to face with a client right now.
Good seeing you.
Oh, is that?
Oh, you don't have
Good
the
to be
nerve,
back.
huh?
Yeah, we missed you around here.
We're not having Kim here.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, that was a change.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do it too. I can't believe it.
There you go. I'm gonna, do you want to take all this upstairs?
I can take it upstairs whenever I go up.
Okay.
Is it just for Shanna?
Yeah, all these are the ones that they need to
Okay,
mail out.
yeah.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye. Enjoy your day, your evening, afternoon.
Thank you. Are you coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, I have a dryer and a freezer being delivered because our freezer's about to die, so it'll depend on if my husband can be there or if I have to wait, but I hope I can make it tomorrow. But I'll be here the rest of the week for sure.
Okay, well, good luck. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey Grant, this is David Parks. I know it's been a while, but hey, just wanted to catch up with you. Got some news you might be interested in. So give me a call whenever you're free. Thanks, bye.
That was very good.
I like that. Way to keep him on the hook. He'll be like,
He's in
"Oh,
there. There's
I-
some news. He's a friend of mine that actually went into real estate
Oh, okay.
2 years ago.
yeah."
And I was there when he was just making that transition, so
So is he still licensed?
I don't know.
He is, bring him over.
Yeah.
Well, he's not from right around here.
Doesn't matter.
but,
Where's he from?
In New Hampshire.
Oh, okay, nice.
So-
Who's he with?
You know, I don't know that either.
Nothing? Okay.
Mhm. Well, he was just making a transition and.
Yeah.
just-
Well, that's an amazing way to connect too, because if you have the relationship, you're like,
I know,
"We're
yeah.
brothers." I love it.
I thought that Shanna put cards out here.
She
Maria just picked them up.
just took them upstairs.
Ugh.
Yeah, these if you like. You want these?
No, I'm gonna write, I'll get some.
Okay.
Hey, Maria, I was supposed to get cards. Did you take them?
Oh, yeah, I take it to Shanna. I didn't.
Okay, so yeah,
So sorry.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
I gotta walk around.
I know, me
can't
too. I
sit.
do that too. I pace.
I'm a walker. Hey Dan, this is David Parks. You're in there, hey, haven't had really talked since the whole thing with the law and all that. Yeah, we're doing okay, yeah, we're, I think it's a couple months ago, right? Anyway, so I've made the transition to a new job. We finally settled on something after all this time. Yeah, I'm doing, so I guess you get doing real estate now. So got my license in real estate, so yeah, it's a huge, I don't know, leap change from what we did before. But anyway, at Keller Williams. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so it's a big relief to finally have a direction now. Yeah, so wasn't good. Anyway, hey, I just wanted to connect. I hadn't seen you much. I know it's been cold in winter and stuff like that, but. Really? A year? Already? Yeah, hope our dogs aren't bothering you too much. They're kind of crazy with the squirrels, I know, but you ever hear them barking? Yeah, well, a year, huh? You haven't had any more problems with the flooding or anything in the basement, have you? Yeah, well, anyway, I decided I hadn't seen you in a while and everything, so I'd catch up with you. And so we still want to do that wall sometime, but real estate kind of you run your own business kind of deal. So it might take a while. Oh, really?
Hey Amy, how you doing? This is Brad over at Tri-Lake Realty.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check in and see how things are going with the new house. And, just kind of see what you're up to, see how things are coming along.
But yeah.
Looks like the Chiefs are doing pretty well, so that's good. Anyway, give me a call sometime, 816-520-6943. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah. Well, we need to, I guess when it gets warm, we'll see each other out in the yard again. Catch up.
Should I put a return address on these cards? Yeah, you could put the office
Okay.
address.
All right. Well, when those commission checks start coming in, you'll be the first to know. We'll have a big party. Yeah. That's cool. All right, well, we'll see you around. Talk to you later. Okay, bye. So I just called my neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting. We know all of our neighbors around us, and it's super
Yeah.
fun, anyway. So I just called my neighbor and, you know, they're not looking to buy or sell. He's like, oh, my wife's uncle is a real estate agent, so I mean, I'm gonna see him from time to time. I mean, where would you put the next touch? Or,
Like, to keep in touch with them, you
yeah,
mean?
but I'm gonna see him, like, we see each other all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, birthdays are always good, 'cause you
Yeah.
have their address, you know where they live.
Yeah, I know their address.
So, you know, that's always super easy and you can even drop it off and just be like, hey, happy birthday, man, like, you know, if they have kids, you can. What I always do too is if they have kids, I send like a $25 gift card to Target or an experience, like a trip to the zoo. Something else that might be good, might just be home maintenance things. What would be another one? Or you could just make it. If you guys hang out and you're friends, then you just hang out
Yeah, I
and,
mean, that's the kind of thing though, I mean, you know, he's out in his yard, we're always out in our yard, so
Yeah.
it's, I mean, we haven't seen each other much because it's been so cold in winter,
yeah.
but.
Yeah, I think with
This
relations,
is Brad with Tri-Lake
I think
Realty.
with relationships
in
like that, it's
Stockton.
easier because.
Just simply
you
calling
already
around
have
the
that
area,
relationship.
looking for
Yeah.
people that might
When it's
be
a colder
considering
lead,
selling
you
or
have to
buying
think
real
more
estate this
about
year.
How you're.
So if you know of
getting in touch with
anyone,
them.
please
But
give me a call.
I'm just gonna put something down
816
for, I mean,
520
like a task.
6943. Talk to you soon.
months?
Once a quarter,
Yeah,
They just
maybe
need-
two,
they
3
just
months.
need one call a quarter,
Mhm,
one of them can be birthday, you know,
yeah,
which is cool, just, you know, as a neighbor, you're like, hey, you know, happy birthday. That's a really thoughtful thing to do. So yeah, you just put a task on your command for once a quarter
Mhm.
and makes it easy that way.
Maria,
Yes.
hey, I have a question. So I used that address finder last night and got several addresses on people. However, I'm feeling a little weird about like they're just randomly gonna get a card from me and they're like, how did you get my address? Like, I don't know. Should I should I verify the address with them or should I ask them? Or I don't know.
I mean, it can go both ways. It's really gonna depend with what you feel comfortable. As an agent, whenever people call me, I always tell them like, as real estate agents, we have access to so much information. So it's not a surprise that we'll have access to CRS and all of that stuff. Now, if it's someone that maybe you don't have a relationship with and you're feeling a little bit weird about it, yeah, you could totally send them a message and be like, hey, you know, I had a big life change, or this new year I'm trying to rekindle lost relationships, whatever message you wanna, you know, tailor to. And then just say, this is the address I have for you, but I wanna make sure that I have the right one. And, you know, you can tweak it to where it fits to your personality. So if you are not going to be sending birthday cards, don't say like, oh, I'm getting addresses to send birthday cards, and then they never receive a birthday card on their birthday, you know? But if you're just, you know, if it's someone that you know and you just want to confirm their address, just be like, hey, I made a new career change and I am sending a life update via mail, and I would love to have your updated address. Would you mind this is the one I have saved to your contact. Is this one right? And then you can go from there. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of people that I send cards to that probably wonder how I got their address. But they don't really like say anything. I had one person that I sent a card to that I know that she had never sent me her address. I had never asked for her address. We were acquaintances, so she was a friend of a friend, but she's super sweet. And I just added her to my database and I told my admin, I was like, hey, can we send a birthday card to her? Because I've met her a few times and she's really sweet. I sent her one and then she doesn't even have my phone number, but she sent me a message through social media and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for your card. That was so sweet. And she appreciated it. She didn't even think anything about the fact that I had her home address. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I think that with technology these days, we all kind of know that if we wanted to, we could very easily find people's information.
So I'm just thinking too much into it.
Yeah, which is normal. I mean, I think about it too. I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm weird.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good question though, yeah.
This is Brad. May I help you? Yes. Okay. Good, good. Now, did they need any additional blood for a test? Because I know she had a couple of, go ahead. Okay, cool. That's all good. It's all good. And then I need to come in and get my INR checked here this week. So, but I'll be in and see you one of these days. Thanks for the call. Bye-bye.
Hey, how are you? I am good. I was calling to check in. I'm out on my call list today to give you guys a call after we spoke yesterday. Did you guys get a chance to meet with your lender? Yeah, this weather has thrown a wrench in everyone's plans. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, awesome. Well, I checked in with the listing agent. She said that they had one more person interested, but they haven't received anything in writing. And I did ask her to let me know if anything changes, and I'm following back up with her as well, to make sure that nothing's changed. But if you just want to let me know whenever you hear from them, I'll be waiting. Awesome. Well, let me know if you guys have any questions. All right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Awesome. Yeah, okay, sounds good. Yeah, I love it. Okay, well, I'll touch base with you and let me know if anything changes or if you guys need anything. Okay, sounds good. All right, bye-bye.
Lunch on Wednesday.
Ooh, there you go.
Via text. I know we're supposed to be calling, but
Hey, but it's an appointment, so.
Okay, so that's my other thing, is that I do find texting a lot easier than calling.
If it's your initial conversation, like if you haven't talked to someone in a long time, I think a phone call goes a long way.
Hey, hi, is this Mr. Holland?
So
Hi, this is Brad. I appreciate you taking the call. Brad with Tri-Lake Realty here in Stockton.
but
You sound kind of,
just think it makes a
kind
longer
of,
impression.
anyway.
Once you've already
Just to make it
established
real
that
simple,
initial
things are
conversation, I
kind of
think
slow right now. I'm
it's
just
easier
calling
to
around the
continue
area
text,
looking for,
But at least doing
I'm
one
looking for
call.
some work. Looking for people that might be considering selling their home or buying a home this year. Do you know of anyone? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, my office is right there. It butts up to the golf course. It's Tri-Lake Realty. You know where Sonic is on 39 Highway or South Street? Yeah, I'm just right across from that. So it's always nice in the spring and summer. I can sit out on the back and watch you guys play golf. But, okay. Anyway. Yeah, it's kind of what I do too. So cool deal. Anyway, appreciate your time. If anything comes up, just give me a call back and I'd appreciate the business. But like I said, I'm just kind of looking for work right now, looking for people, wanting to buy or sell. So.
I might sell one of these days. I'm old. I don't have a lot of time left, so I'm gonna be up one of these days.
Well, maybe I'll stay in touch with you and maybe I'll help you. All right, you take care. Bye-bye. Where's my stupid thing?